Hey, welcome to the Porch Boys podcast. I am, of course, your devilishly handsome and extremely intelligent host, John, alongside my lesser intelligent and, of course, black bearded co hosts, Midget B and Seawall. And joining us tonight, special guest, the legendary Ace from Twitter and Slurp Gang fame. Jeez, okay. It's almost like I've been drinking or something. How you guys doing today? How's everything
I'm
going?
doing well. Well, thank you for inviting me.
Of course, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time away from Twitter for a few hours.
Yeah. I'll have a backlog after this. So I'll have to sift through, but it'll be fine.
No.
I know it
Well,
takes
here's the
nourishment,
question.
so-
No.
Have any of you seen Ace in real life, or is he just an AI that is
I have
generating
some
these
people.
images?
I have a
Some
theory that
people
he
have
can
seen
be
me.
AI. I don't know. I don't know if I trust them because I do have a theory that he's actually just a machine that runs off of people's stupidity. That's why he never has to sleep. He never has to eat or drink water. He just is on Twitter 24 hours a day and just feeding off of stupidity.
Man, an energy source based off stupidity would be like self-fulfilling or like.
Oh God,
it
we would
just
get to
be
post-scarcity.
self-fulfilling energy. It
We
would be
would get
unlimited
to
energy.
post-scarcity economics real quick.
Right.
You can power the entire planet like several
Right.
times over.
Not just
Wow,
power the
that'd be
entire
wild.
planet. We'll have Star Trek replicators.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So yes, thank you for joining us, Ace. It's
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, this is fucking amazing. Can't wait to start out tonight. We got some people in the chat. Let's acknowledge them because we're probably going to forget about them in a little while, like we normally do.
I've
Hello,
already,
people in my computer.
Yeah,
I've already forgotten.
already. We've actually got High Leaf in here. He's rolling in with a half track with quad 20 millimeters. Saying, "Howdy guys, how you been? Been working at new site as armed security. My man.
Nice.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Armed security. Quest Fanning, what's up, Quest? He says, okay, yeah. He's been working on that. They're talking about the armed security thing. And J. Edgar is also here. So, are we gonna have audio tonight? No audio. You can just stare at the picture for a little while.
Yep,
That'll
we're
be
just
enough.
we're just voices in your head, Jay. Don't worry.
That's right. There's not actually a podcast here. You're just listening to yourself.
Yeah,
Crazy.
Jay, you need to wake up.
Someone
wake
forgot
up,
to
Jay.
take their meds.
He's rocking back and forth, holding
That's
his
right.
knees in the corner of a padded room. This is all an
wait.
illusion.
I do actually see him. He's sniffing Ace in our picture.
Oh, I forgot to
Ed
turn.
is actually right there. He's sniffing Ace.
I forgot to turn that off.
You forgot to take Ed out.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
But yeah, that little J. Edgar thing. I only had him in there because remember I think we were planning on having him kind of last minute at the last one, but he wasn't able to show up. So I had it ready to go,
Okay.
but
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ace, Scotty likes it. Is telling me to let you know to stop sending him nudes, please. He's over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Scotty
so-
is lying. That has never happened twice. That it's an unbelievable statement by him. Unbelievable, Scotty.
Oh, do we
Yeah,
have,
I mean,
do we have some
I'm
slander going on?
sure you seem the tasteful gentleman, the tasteful sort, the sort that wouldn't send it once it's been requested that you stop sending them.
Right. Of course, yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah. I have boundaries, obviously.
You seem the sort that would.
Yeah.
well,
I
I mean,
respect that, at least, yeah.
I've got a
Yeah.
screenshot that counteracts that position.
Well, you know what they say about screenshots.
That's right. You can edit the HTML. That's what they say.
Yeah.
That is what they say. So Ace, there might be a couple people out here who don't know who you are. Would you mind giving us a short synopsis of who Ace is as an AI?
Sure. I'm an AI, and I'm on Twitter. I'm an algorithm that searches out the dumbest takes you've ever seen in your life, and then I quote tweet them in response. And I have ingested way too much anarchist theory over my life.
Dude,
That's
it would seem
essentially
like
it.
it. Yeah, it would seem like it. It seems like you're just like a constant 24-hour algorithm of anarchist theory. Just
Well, let me ask,
all the time.
for point of clarification, you mentioned you have ingested specifically anarchist Um, well, how did you characterize it?
Theory?
Yes,
Anarchist
thank you.
theory, yeah.
So could you maybe cite some of your favorite sources?
Oh, of course, yeah. Well, as far, do you mean just like specific text or just anarchists in general?
Yes.
Okay.
Authors, I would say
All
authors
right,
is
sure.
probably a better.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good. Okay. Well, I think you would be, I'd be remiss if I didn't right out the bat mention Rothbard, right? Murray Rothbard,
of course.
Very nice.
Lysander Spooner, Benjamin Tucker, Voltairine de Cleyre, Emma Goldman is also good.
So you've consumed all this media, and it's
Yes.
affected you profoundly.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
How do you feel about its comportment to reality?
Well,
How do you feel about its practical application to the peaceableness of society?
I think that most people have anarchist interactions all the time, right? All of us right now are
I
having
would
an
say you
anarchist
are
interaction
correct.
right now.
I would
So,
say you are correct.
yeah. So I think it applies. It's already applying in reality most of the time in most places, and people just take it for granted and don't ever like conceive of it as anarchy when it really is.
Mhm.
Indeed, because
No, I
it
mean
seems
that was one of
natural.
the
Yes.
yeah, that was one of the biggest things that brought me over to anarchy is realizing that like that made me give away that just kind of cut that last cord of minarchy from
Yeah.
me. Because I was a minarchist for years. Um, but yeah, so that was kind of what made me
Like
cut that.
willing
Was
to
like, yeah,
concede
we're
to
doing
go.
yeah, because we're doing anarchy all the time, like all the time,
Yeah.
except for
Yes.
the few instances where we're not.
Right.
Like there's actually
Exactly.
less instances where we're not.
We're
Than
doing it
are.
all the time, except when we're not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, like anything else, right? You're doing it all the time, except
Except
when you're not.
most of the
Yeah,
time, dude, because of
it
the
is.
laws by which we are constrained in our daily interactions, the way our culture is built around these things. It's to the point where it reinforces itself. It's a feedback loop, wherein we are submissive and cucked, and thereby we submit and cuck ourselves to further submission and cuck.
Yeah. So kind of the way I like to think about it is like anarchy is relational. So it's a lot of people try to think it's like this top-down system that you just like designate an area and you say, well, this is anarchist because it doesn't have a state. But I think it's more fluid than that, right? So like my interaction with you may be anarchist at the same time my interaction to a cop at the exact same time is not, right? So you can have it. It can be very like asymmetric.
Where you exist in a universe wherein your interactions are not necessarily all.
Yeah, and they're not all anarchistic. Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, obviously it's true, but sorry to derail us. Anyway, I'm
No, no,
glad
no,
to.
no.
Yeah, I
That's what
think
we're
it's
here
good
for.
that
Yeah.
we
No, I'm
mentioned
good for it. Yeah.
though. I think it's good that we mentioned the specifics, like you said, that you had consumed that really affected you most
Yeah.
profoundly.
Oh yeah.
But what's better, I like to hear about is that yes, indeed, it is analogous to our daily experience as
Yes.
people interacting in a culture of, rough, how would you describe it? Like I said, it's profoundly affected by this feedback loop we find ourselves in, that we love this system that we built for ourselves and exalt it, and can't imagine a universe outside it, can't
Right.
even take a perspective because our frame of reference is so fucked.
Right.
So what's to be done? Like, in the sense that, like, we could try and learn these philosophies, but really they're just telling us what we already know, aren't they?
Yeah, to a certain extent, that's true, right? So like I think understanding the philosophy helps you if you want to like be better at like articulating and analyzing exactly what an anarchist relationship is or like how it would manifest practically speaking. But if we're talking about like how would we like kind of convince the masses or like that type of practical application, I think I don't think like trying to like proselytize theory to people is probably the best way, even though I think that's so important. I think probably the best way to go about it would probably be just through like technological decentralization over time, right? Because I think people in their own interests are going to adopt technologies that will make them wealthier and make their families wealthier. And
Yes.
I kind of think that is the way forward, even if they don't even understand a single aspect of
You can
libertarian
use
theory.
your own positive feedback loop.
Right.
Right? You can use your own positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
Whereby you actively, rather than philosophically, pursue your goals. Actively.
Yes.
Through the means of decentralization.
Yes.
Whereby you become, and that's why, god damn, I like talking to you already. So let me say that, like, we have all separately on our own, and it seems at around the same time, come to the same conclusion that there is no direct action that is useful to take, that the best means by which to improve our world and surroundings and culture is to be the culture.
Right.
So that
I'm
means
even on that
to
train a little bit.
So okay, that being the case, coupled with what you just said, let me not get off the rails, but like what you just said, wherein we are trying to actively decentralize things, information most especially.
Yes.
Yeah.
And and as I've said in the past as well, information being currency, almost literally. So okay, we decentralize that through an active approach. And then, like you said, people's natural self-interest drives them to gravitate toward these means of wealth generation, which is literally the means of information generation.
Yes.
Which is literally the means of active self-reliance. If you have the capacity to understand, absorb, and benefit from that. Otherwise, what are you? Right.
I think
how do we interact with those people?
I think actually, like, one of the greatest things about markets in general is that a lot of people don't have to understand, right? So, like, when people interact with markets, a lot of times they kind of like, there's this implicit knowledge, like there's the direct knowledge people have, like when someone goes to the store and buys a product, right, for a certain amount of money. There's direct knowledge they have, which is that, okay, this product costs X amount of money, and I'm going to purchase it. But also the price is signaling like some implicit information that they don't quite comprehend extensively, which is like all the price reflects some background information or history that essentially led up to the culmination of the product being in front of them. It gives them implicit information about like the scarcity of the product, all these things. So I think one of the great things about like the concept of decentralization is that people benefit from intuitive or implicit information, even if they don't even comprehend it, and it works into their own self-interest. So you kind of don't even need to teach people. Really, I mean, I think it's important to teach as many people as you can, but the anarchists should never feel like they have to like save the world or something like by trying to like proselytize theory to people.
Yes, indeed. No, indeed, it's a waste. It's a waste.
This is what I was kind of saying to you. I think last time I was over at your place, Mijjt, was when I'm talking about like anarchy, when I'm talking about like trying to just make the whole world become anarchist, right? I'm trying to become more anarchist myself and the people around me. And so what my goal is, and an actual attainable goal, is to minimize my interaction with the state as much as possible, as much as humanly possible. It's not going to be completely possible, I think, but as much as possible. So like relying less on even, grocers, right? So I'm not paying a sales tax, right? I'm not giving money to the state as much as possible. I'm trying to have an income that either isn't taxable or is taxed, minimally, through whatever kind of means that's done. Moving to a
We're
state.
Speaking figuratively, of course, Mr. IRS.
Well, no. I'm saying, of course, legally. I'm not trying to have the gun to the back of my head, right? I want the gun to stay out of sight.
I mean,
where it is now.
Why else would I make a disclaimer other than coercion, right?
Of course,
coercion.
But no, I mean that's the whole point, right? Is trying to
Minimize.
minimize your interaction with the state as much as possible. So that doesn't
Indeed.
mean like, oh, I think that like some kind of statist ideal of what anarchy is will happen in my lifetime. Like that's
Right.
ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous,
No,
unattainable,
and
and
also
listen, we'll beat you to the head with that every
I,
fucking day,
I
though. Like,
as a tech guy, even though yes, technology is decentralizing, one thing that
Mhm.
needs to be remembered: any system that is stable, even though decentralized, still needs administrators, still needs people
Right.
with that ban hammer. In a sense, the monopoly on force. So the best thing is, look, at the end of the day, I do believe that a state is needed. I just disagree that the state's current size is what is needed. I think it's way too fucking big.
yeah, Sewell is our resident conservative.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. And
yeah.
my position is, look, as if the thing is, technology's gotten to the point where we're almost at the point where people can make processors in their homes. We're within
Yes.
probably 50 years of that.
Easily.
And at that point, there's no way to control the system. There's no way to control technology at that point. We are almost at that point. They are trying their damnedest. I mean, hell, China.
Well,
built their
imagine
internet.
a massive
Yeah.
blockchain consisting of homemade processors.
We'll be right back.
I mean, it's going to have various issues.
It would be like an intranet,
well,
and it
the
would
pro-
be
well,
uncontrollable.
Well, no. There will still be
Of
administrators.
course, it would have
There
issues.
will still be
Of course, it would
administrators.
be.
There will still
There
be
would
people
be
that could,
local administrators.
yeah, that could fill up
There
kill
would
switches
be
on parts
local
of it.
administrators. That's
You-
right.
yeah,
It
and
would
you
be.
could partially disrupt it, but it'd be a bitch and a half to kill it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. It
And
would.
the problem
wouldn't
is,
it?
though,
Seawall.
even
it
with
would be like an insurgent force in a fucking dominated, over the air network.
well,
Where
the
you need a
problem comes in
fucking good
with-
social credit score to connect to the fucking Wi-Fi. My man, you got a homemade processor on a fucking blockchain that's locally administered.
Yeah, but the problem
by a
is that
fucking
speed's going to be ridiculously slow.
white hat.
There's
Well,
gonna-
you know
yeah.
what? You can still exchange information, which is
Exactly.
currency, my man.
Yeah, exactly.
Information
It's
is
one of those things
currency,
that
my man.
it's not going to be a replacement whole hog, but it's going to be an
But-
alternate system that, while clunky, will
Right,
still
and you
function.
can.
The only way they might
eliminate
be able to
that.
stop it would be, and this
It
would
would be
this
like
would be
a
insane.
guerrilla internet.
Well,
You
yeah,
can
in a
never-
sense, but also small sat. Well, also something else is going to start cropping up in the near future as personal rocketry technology gets better. You're going to have small little outfits launching satellites into orbit, CubeSats,
Yeah.
small sats,
Mhm.
and they're going to be a bitch and have to get rid of. Basically, the only play those that want to control information would have at that point is massive blanket jamming.
Yep,
And-
EMPs.
no, not
detonating
EMPs.
in
No,
orbit.
not EMPs. EMPs will fuck everything. I'm
Yeah.
talking about they're
right,
setting
yeah,
up cell
of
phone
course.
towers everywhere that are jamming all radio waves. They'd have to give up all wireless technology, every bit of it.
Hang on,
Yeah.
Ace is trying to make a point.
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Okay.
No, I was agreeing, but I was going to make a point after you guys were talking about it. No, go ahead. I didn't want to interrupt.
Yeah,
You know, if you don't cut them off, they won't stop. So
Oh,
just go ahead and cut them
yeah,
off.
it's one of those things that I see that the end state is it will get somewhat close to where you guys want, where there is no state, there is no master, as it were. I see the future being more that the state either is removed, or the state
All right.
willingly realizes that it has to deal with the devil and give up power for it to just continue to survive.
Right.
All right,
It's like
all
a
right,
parasite.
Until
having
eventually,
quick
it becomes
poll of
small,
those here on the
fairly
porch.
weak, not able
Who
to.
who here is a free New Vegas Chad?
No,
Check in. Free New Vegas
Yeah.
Chad.
though
Check
technically,
in.
I imagine my guy goes more dictator about it. But hey,
All right. How about
yeah.
second place? Second place comes Mr. House, New Vegas.
I don't even. I played through that game one time. I don't remember what I even did.
Right. So
Yeah.
did you free New Vegas or Mr.
I don't
House
remember.
New Vegas?
I took
I
over New
think I
Vegas
freed
myself.
New Vegas. I would have freed. The first time I played through something, I'm always like the good guy.
Second time, I
I'll be
was,
evil
Mr. House's lieutenant, basically.
Yeah. But I only played through once, so I only did the
Ace?
good guy.
Oh, I
Ace?
freed it. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Of course you did.
Well, I mean, if you
Chad's
dig deeper
over
into the lore, it's more like Yes Man
Yeah.
is the one that takes over.
And saying yes,
that
man,
means-
always.
Well, actually,
Interesting.
if you listen to some of his lines, he isn't as much as a yes man as you might think. Because one of the last lines he says in the game to you is that he's going to do some minor reprogramming to himself to make him better, able to do his job. And while it's a lot of speculation, it's speculated that he's kind of a mastermind in and of himself.
Well, that's fan fiction. You know,
well, I mean, half
he's got a huge 8-inch
universe.
dragon dong, and like everybody loves him, and he's a celebrity. He gets all of the robo bitches, right? He gets all the robo bitches.
All the robo bitches, yeah. He did, didn't he? Wasn't that the one that had all the robo bitches?
Right.
No,
That's right.
I thought there were two. Yeah, I thought there were like two female picture Securitrons that hung out with Mr. House, but you had to kill them when you killed House.
Mr. House. Okay, yes. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I played that game.
Well, that's what I was talking about. The Mr. House bitches. You know, Yes Man be like schlonging them.
I guess in his spare time, perhaps.
He's hooking up his USB cable. His mail.
So, unless anyone else has any profoundly philosophical thoughts for Ace to tackle and destroy, we do have some memes and stuff we can listen to or watch and we'll look at and stuff. Oh my god!
Comment
I was in the chat. I was in the chat, so it fucked up my speech. Yeah. So, yeah. If you guys don't have anything else, we can move on to memes.
I wonder what his anarchist position is on the airspeed of an unladen swallow.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah, I don't think anarchist theory is really tackled that, unfortunately. That's like a knock against anarchism.
Damn it. I guess we're going to have to go full state now.
Yep, I guess.
I'll be sending you Hugo Boss in the mail.
Anarchism has now been defeated.
Anarchism has been defeated. Get into the Hugo Boss and start goose stepping.
BTFO forever.
Look. Even though I believe that a state is necessary for advanced human society to exist, where we have advanced technology, high standard of living, not 80% child mortality rate, or whatever ridiculously high it was in history. But I can live in an anarchist society because generally I just want to be left the fuck alone.
Well, that's what most people want, even if they don't realize it.
Yeah,
I mean, I think
obviously there's some people that want the power and don't want to leave you alone. But
what about people who just want to be told what to do and think?
Those do exist, yeah. But like that's the thing is like even in an anarchist society,
some will survive that, but they're usually going to be basically servants to someone that's more dominant.
But that's what they want. That's what they're doing now.
Right, that's all they want. They exist to do.
Yeah. Also, a question. To answer your question, African or European swallow. Actually, I'm going to go with an Asian one.
Ooh,
fuck off, dude. You don't.
It's because he's got that yellow fever. Yeah, he wants that Asian swallow.
He does.
You took it there, John. You were the one that took it there.
That shit. No, dude, you just walk into this stuff.
Yeah, you do kind of walk into this.
You put it on a tee.
African or European. The only other major region that has them, to my knowledge, is Asia.
Well, yeah, and you just wanted to be snarky.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess we're moving on to memes, unless there's something else.
Yes, I need a...
Yep.
I'm good.
Everybody done having their assholes reamed? All right, let's move on.
So here we go, and let me hide us since busy screen. And this is the first meme of the day. So Ace, you want to explain this?
Yeah, explain yourself, sir.
So this is this is just libelous.
Be right back, gentlemen.
Yeah, it is technically libel, but the problem is, can you prove it is?
I cannot prove it, so therefore you guys are fine. Don't worry.
You seem like you're gonna come. I don't know. It seems like you might be on the verge of it again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the Kevin Castley Abbey is just obviously.
So do you guys have a history, or is it just because I was given this?
Oh yes. Oh yes, we have a history.
Oh
yes.
I want to hear this story because the thing is, I've had to interact with furries in my life.
Okay.
I watched it live, so.
Yeah, so he's not exactly a furry, but I do want to point out that I had a tweet. It was actually around this time last year. Actually, I had a tweet that was like, John McCain's brain tumor saved more Middle Eastern lives than any politician in the last 30 years. And it started expanding and finding itself into like conservative Twitter and like neocon Twitter specifically, and they got pretty upset about it. And Kevin Castley like entered stage left right into my periphery, and we had like a 3-day long argument on Twitter about blowing up children in the Middle East.
Wait, was he pro blowing them up?
Oh yeah, he's very pro blowing them up. He's a hawk. Yeah. So that.
Oh, got it. Yeah, because I'm in the position of, look, only start blowing them up if they blow us up first.
But he's the guy that I thought didn't actually exist when left-wing media talked about them. I was like, those people don't exist. And then fucking, like you said, Ace entered stage left. Kevin Casper, there he is. He does exist. Like, there's at least one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He. So then, probably what he's most known for is that one of my friends, El Popo, he goes by Checkmark Abuser on Twitter now, at Checkmark Abuser. He did a debate with Kevin Castley, but he was doing Kevin thought it was me debating, but it was actually my friend. And my friend just made a huge fool of him, like for 30 minutes, just trolled him. It's so
amazing.
Great. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's a great stream. I recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it yet. It is fucking hilarious.
It's so funny. Yeah. Yeah, that's essentially like how how Kevin and I met.
See, so like I argued with him a bunch of times as well, and he wanted to debate me because that's how he is. Anyone who says anything, he's like, "Oh, debate me, bro." Yeah. And then finally, after like fucking months of just like going back and forth, I was like, "Fine, like I'll do it on your terms." I was trying to get him to do it on my terms, but he wouldn't do it. I was like, "All right, fine, I'll do it on your terms." And then he was talking about it has to be on a Tuesday night at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, I don't have a job. Like, I don't have things to do. I'm not Ace. Like, I can't just be around all different
You're
times.
not an AI.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus Christ.
As much as you would like to be.
I'm a computer guy, and I'm constantly hooked into basically everything. And even I'm going like 2 a.m. debate. Fuck you.
Yeah, right.
On a Tuesday, I've got work in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, can you do it any other time? And he's like, no, that's like the only time I can do it. I'm like, really? You work 7 days a week? You don't have a day off that you can get up at like 2
He also
p.m.?
wears a suit at like 9 p.m. on a Saturday, like during his live stream.
Exactly. It's fucking retarded. And so I was like, okay, well, I can't do it. Let me know if you come up with the time that we can do the normal human time. And then another point, he starts like talking shit about how I was a coward and wouldn't debate him. And I'm like, so I was like, oh, you screenshot of our fucking, like, I tried to debate you, dude. Like, I tried. Of course, he was like, oh, leaking DMs, classy. And I'm like, no, you fucking lied about me. Like, I'm clearing the record. That's it. Like, oh, it's so fucking stupid.
Well, yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I used to be more of a neocon warhawk, but I've changed. I'm like, look, if the Middle East wants to kill itself, that's its duty. If Russia wants to grab Ukraine, more power to them. I don't care.
Anyway,
it's kind of a not my people, not my problem position at this point.
Part is left. Should I
right,
do it?
exactly.
Yeah, so well, I guess we'll scoot along then.
Scooting along.
From our acquaintances up north. John doesn't like me call them brothers up north.
No, Canadians are not acceptable in most situations.
Just in, police are moving in, ready to arrest truck drivers and seize equipment if they continue to block the highway at the U.S.-Canada border crossing into Alberta, per local media.
Real quick, Mijjt, do you want to mute yourself? Because I can hear Rachel in the background.
I'm trying so hard to get into that page.
She's 6th out of 6 on the table, right?
Okay, I kicked him into the other room just to play it safe.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So
I don't know what they're talking about.
yeah. So then a little bit later, Alberta towing companies reject requests to supply trucks to RCMP. Get wrecked, Mounties.
You fuckers, don't do that to me.
You were having an off-stream conversation, man. We didn't want you doxing yourself, man.
We can hear you and Rachel talking. So over what the show is. So
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're good. Just that's why I said mute yourself, but then you didn't. So
Yeah, and I think I've noticed, and I've been seeing this from the
physically removed, as it were.
Right-wing populist Twitter. They've been pointing out that hey lefties, aren't you guys pro-worker? And aren't these guys working class rising up against the machine?
Right.
No, but not like that though. No.
No, the working class has to submit to the government.
I'll say this: we are blessed by the enemies we have. They are so incompetent.
Man, I don't know. Like some of them are, some of them aren't. I mean, what direction? Until like maybe the last couple of months, what direction is the culture going? Wasn't towards freedom. I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, we're still not going towards freedom. The right-wing populists are in the position of we need to bring people onto the right path, kicking and screaming if needed.
I think you can obviously see like a lot of people. It's obviously gotten worse, but you're also seeing more people who are resistant to it. You know what I mean? So the fact that there's more like alternate media channels that people are consuming nowadays, getting their information more freely and from more sources.
Not only that, but you
more
have
people.
Some possible alternatives to YouTube that are actually doing okay, like Locals.
Right.
Rumble, I think, is doing okay for itself.
BitChute
BitChute never took off, but it's still holding on.
Yeah. And even when something I'm not obviously defending censorship, but even when censorship does happen, it's kind of like, oh, we can see it, it's happening, and these people are out to get us, so that can lower confidence in these corporate regimes.
Well, yeah,
That's
and it's
definitely true. Yeah. That's definitely true. Yeah.
Well, also, you've heard about the massive drops in the big tech companies recently, right?
Oh yeah.
Well, my contention with Ace's point just now is that they do see it, yes, indeed, and they cheer it on. They're like, "Well, he deserves it because he's my tribal enemy."
But you're always going to have those people, right? You're always going to have some of those people. But the point is that more people are waking up, as opposed to like if this had happened like 60, 70 years ago when we had 3 news channels. I think it would been a lot worse. There wouldn't have been as much. So you can say about it with the internet because there's sort of like a negative feedback loop that kind of like gets people crazier and more riled up. But I think the fact that there's more channels now and more alternate media, people are less resistant to being censored now than they were like years and years ago.
Well, not only that, but what was it? There's I can't remember who said. I think it was on one of the Ricada Law streams, and people were saying, "Look, it's not that this bad shit wasn't happening before.
Right.
It's just people are realizing that it is."
Yes, they didn't know about it.
And the thing is, every single move being made by the current administration and governments around the world, they're not moves made by people that feel secure in their power. These are moves made before empires fall.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's definitely true.
And it's very rare that an empire averts its own collapse.
Yeah. And, that's a good point because, you just think about it. It's like if they could be making these moves in the background, they would try. But the fact that they're so brazen about it is actually a sign of weakness because it's like they're not in control. And so they're just like they have to bite the bullet in some regard.
Also, another thing that cropped up recently, people saying, the neo-cucks have regained control of the Republican Party. Populism's dead in the Republicans. Well, didn't the Republican Party just throw out 2 rhinos effectively?
Right.
Publicly at a national level saying basically fuck you. They censured both of them that were on the Jan 6 committee.
Mm-hmm.
That means the upper echelons of the Republican Party have been infected and basically are being replaced by I don't like the term Trumpian Republicans. I prefer the term populist right-wingers because Trump just kind of rode those coattails. He's a populist.
Yeah.
Not the best, but he's a populist.
Well, he always has been. He was a Democrat populist when his position hasn't changed all that much since the 90s.
Yeah.
Right. He's talked about the same kind of things back then that he is now. It's just that the policy positions have switched parties. Is essentially what's happened.
To a point. Remember, the World Trade Organization stuff was both sides.
Well, but his main thing was running. The thing he ran on was the wall, right? Building a wall. That was a Democrat idea in the 90s. That's what they were talking about. They were talking about building a wall back then. He just did it, fucking 30 years later.
And effectively, yeah.
Or tried to do it 30 years later. I'm not sure exactly how it's going now. I don't know.
The projects have basically stalled out, but the Biden administration is losing ground in the lawsuit saying, hey, these contracts need to be fulfilled.
So even more wasted, stolen money. Excellent.
Well, no, what's going to happen is basically the Biden administration is going to cave and then allow the work to be completed because they have no choice.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
They'll likely just not do maintenance on them.
Right. We can move on to the next.
Seawall
next
believes in happenings. It's like a
I
disability
know.
he has.
Yeah, he thinks things happen.
Well, if things aren't happening, then there's no reason to keep fighting.
2
Then
more weeks.
just
That's not true at all.
give up, drink your soy, and eat your bugs. Get in your pod.
I don't think that's true at all. I think that no, you have to be. Like we talked about this earlier in the show. Like you have to be the happening. You have to be the action.
Oh yeah.
Like do for yourself. What's what's
Yeah,
gonna.
I'm doing
make
my
the
stuff
change
in my little corner,
Right.
but I'm also keeping an eye on what's going on out there and going, hey.
Right, but expecting like some politician to make things better for you is a losing battle at the start. Like
They're by definition never gonna do that.
right.
By the very purpose of their existence, they exist to not do that.
I mean, they have no real incentive to. Like they may
absolutely.
in like a happenstance type way, but it would never be like a concerted effort.
Well, I like
effort.
Ace.
Right.
You said a happenstance way, or how about like more like a procedural way?
Sure, yeah, that's better.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene was on Timcast, and she explained the procedural manner by which she became like a prominent thorn in the side of the establishment.
Right.
Where she was procedurally making them do their fucking jobs. Right? And so that's why they were like, she was waking up, she said, Jerry Nadler from his nap to call in floor votes on the record on these fucking policies.
Right.
So it's like you said, Ace, they're taking these procedural methods, these happenstance methods, and affecting change in that way.
Look, we'll have to see what's going to happen after 2022.
Disrupting,
because the thing is, if enough of the populace, the idealists, the thing is, when you get enough idealists in a government, shit does start happening.
I mean, but that's usually a bad thing when shit starts happening.
I was going to say, we're talking about a government full of idealists. I mean, see Kyle, right?
Even things that we like, we kind of, I'm wary about government.
Yeah, I actually prefer like the people who are like more idiots. Like I actually like the Trumps and even to some extent the Bidens, but for different reasons because they're
Biden is basically just
jokers.
making people not trust the office, which people should not trust the office.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. And we're getting some unconfirmed reports of some pretty serious reinforcements going to Ottawa. Seems like the heavy cavalry is en route.
Yeah, that looks like a what is that? A ship horn, right?
Yeah, that's a ship horn.
Foghorn. Oh
looks
man,
like the abyss staring back.
Yeah.
Well, also you notice how much they're freaking out about the
abyss.
trucks in Ottawa and the Jan 6th, even though that was glow in the fucking dark. How much it actually caused the politicians to kind of shit themselves a little bit.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what was it? The theory I heard from again, I've been keeping up with Ricada and the Law Tuber guys, just because I find them fascinating.
Sure.
With a lot of their takes. What one of them was saying today was that they were hoping Jan 6th actually turned into an insurrection, but the problem is the people that quote unquote participated in the insurrection are people that in a sense are patriots. They love the country. And and even though they don't trust the previous vote, they do trust that there are systems in place to try to stop it.
The system itself, just not the people running it at that moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why they didn't go for the full thing. And did you guys hear the legal theory from for the Oath Keepers?
I did not.
The government is claiming their plan was to bring guns in after the Jan 6 rioters secured the Capitol without guns.
Is there like evidence of that?
Nothing they presented.
We wouldn't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just their claim.
It's their claim in the initial filings. And I think, exactly. Yeah. But the thing is, but the problem is, that is a patently ridiculous theory.
Right.
If you're planning on overthrowing government, Every last
honestly, right
coup,
now,
every last
if those people
insurrection,
are armed,
they storm the government buildings with guns or weapons.
Right, you wouldn't bring them in afterwards. Like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Like, it
If
You
just
may
those
bring
people
in
are armed, that would've been
additional
it.
equipment afterwards, but that's a
That would've
different
been-
story.
Right, yeah, you really bring supplies to sustain,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
But when you
sustain
go
a siege.
yeah, exactly. You sustain the occupation.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a siege at that point. It would be an occupation. But like, so yeah, you can bring more supplies to maintain that. But like, yeah, I mean, if those people, if even if half of those people were armed with like guns, that would have been it for most of Congress.
Yeah, exactly. That would have been it
That
for
would
most of
have been it.
Congress. Military likely would have surrendered.
I don't know about that. Maybe they probably would have taken it back eventually. I mean,
Here's the
there's,
problem. The American troops probably would not want to have to deal with that. You're talking
I
about
mean,
fighting
we
on your
get
own
the
streets, fighting your own
speculation.
citizens. That is a really hard thing to do for a volunteer army. It's one of the hardest
maybe
things to
it's
do.
Speculation now. I'm not
Yeah.
so sure. I mean, maybe because like there's a lot of conservatives in the military, and
Yeah, not only
people
that, but
there,
remember,
like,
there were
the
military
conservatives,
people
maybe
either
they-
off duty or retired that were in the Jan 6th. And if one person recognized somebody else and that started going through and saying, hey, there's some veterans in there, you're going to start
I don't know.
seeing mass descent in the ranks.
I
Not
feel
only that,
like-
yeah.
I feel like there probably would be some who would say, no, I'm not going to do that. And
Yeah.
they would just like drop their weapon and just
Yeah.
like walk off. But I do think that they would probably be replaced by people who don't have those types of morals.
You're talking
of-
about sacrificing
speaking of-
60 to 80% of the
Yes,
military.
hang on. Seawall. Speaking of, did we not just get news? I think yesterday or the day before that the military is discharging people who will refuse to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Is that not that kind of purging of like that ideological purging of like?
Well, the problem is the people
are
that,
less likely,
from what
I
I've been
think, to shoot
hearing, the
their own
most
citizens.
vocal anti-vax people are the special forces. You're talking about sacrificing the most well-trained, well-equipped,
Oh,
and
I
most
doubt
knowledgeable
I doubt
soldiers, and
doubt
replacing
they're
them with,
including that.
and the thing is, they've also been dropping the standards for the military for years. And the thing is, the
Well,
military
yes,
does not
yes.
have the numbers to occupy America. The U.S.
Oh,
military
no,
would not
not-
be able to hold.
Yeah.
If let's say they put boots on the ground and started just mass executing
Well,
conservatives, they have maybe 2 months
no.
before every military member who isn't captured would be executed themselves by the resurgent population.
A lot of the U.S.'s like defensive strategy is illusion. We've done that since World War II.
Yeah.
Where we have like, the illusion.
But illusion
of
has
strength.
never worked with a guerrilla campaign.
Not with the guerrilla campaign, right?
Yeah.
That's why it works so well against our military.
Yeah.
But no. So like things like the White House security, right?
Mhm.
There was a guy when Obama was president.
Yeah.
Who like you would think there's laser tripwires that'll kill you as soon as you step across them, snipers on the roofs, dogs. I mean, yeah, like that was the Joe Rogan joke, right? They didn't have a dog,
Yeah.
right? The dude just ran up the
He
lawn,
got into the White
got
House.
inside, was running around for like minutes before an off-duty officer tackled
Yeah.
him down.
Well, yeah,
Like, there
and
wasn't even
again,
somebody who was
also,
assigned to work there at that day. Like it was, it's most of it
yeah.
is the illusion of security and not like an actual security. So we had the same thing with our military, I think,
Mhm.
like defensively, whereas like we project this strength, so therefore our defense must be really big. I'm not so certain.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because the thing is, the U.S. military, they don't have the right type of base to hold cities in the U.S. One of
No.
the first things the military would do, I've had some ethnics claim, oh, what the military will do is they'll secure the cities. They will then use the transport planes to bring in food and fuel to keep the population in check in those cities. Then from there, basically conscript elements of the citizenry, and then use carpet bombing campaigns on anyone who isn't in the cities. Which that is not how you win a civil war. That is how you lose a civil
Right.
war.
Yeah,
That's-
of course. Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
talking about, Seawall? Carpet bombing the breadbasket of the nation?
Right, where 80%.
Oh,
of your
they're
food
claiming that,
comes
oh, they'll
from-
just fly
right.
food in from other nations. It'll
Fantastic.
be fine.
Great job. Yeah.
And they'll use the
Yeah.
strategic reserve of
It's
oil
like,
to keep the
that
planes
is-
going.
Yeah, that's
Well,
always
can
been
we-
my.
Can
Oh,
we
go ahead.
identify for a moment
Real quick.
that that is the reason that this idea on its face is absurd?
Yes.
Also,
Like,
you
As I
you
said, that's
say
why I'm
that
saying the
right,
military would
like,
likely
this
either
is
stay out of it
what-
or just surrender. Because
But,
they don't
yeah.
want to deal with that shit.
There's historical precedent, though, of military leaders making those same mistakes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
It-
true.
Well,
it
and they
happens.
lost their heads.
Right.
Almost always.
Of course,
Yeah, no.
the fact is it
Oftentimes
happened,
by
right?
the
So
hands of their
saying
own
it's
men.
absurd that it would happen is not. It's absurd because it's absurd that it would happen, but it has happened and therefore could possibly happen again.
I mean, I think it could possibly happen, but I think to everyone,
Yeah.
like to everyone's point, is that like it would be like so. I like to think about when you think about countries, right? Essentially, the citizens are tax cattle, right?
Yes.
From the perspective of the ruling elite, we're all tax cattle. So if we're all tax cattle, the state is a parasite. They need the people supplying them resources in the first place in order to survive. So if they just go
easy
in
with the anti.
Oh, so if
Midget,
they
the
just
fact you bring it up
Yeah,
makes it a
Ace.
problem.
I didn't know it was like that, Ace. Damn.
no, if they like just go in and start bombing like a bunch of places, especially places that are produce all the food specifically,
Right,
it's like yeah, you're going to kill yourself off with
The
that.
food, the fuel refining,
Yeah.
the manufacturing.
I mean, we've heard self-defeating agendas like Islamicizing Europe, but I mean, come on, oy vey, you're talking about bombing the breadbasket of the,
Well,
the
it was
Yeah,
the, it was
there's
the
all
thought
kinds
they
of
had that they
self-defeating
thought
strategies
because
that are out there.
they also thought that they could keep the
I
military
mean,
ranks
you're
filled by,
talking
you know,
about a group of people that does have a predisposition to schizophrenia and degenerative diseases, but and self-destruction. But I mean, come on, this
Well,
is
yeah, as I
just
said, the
taking
problem
that
that the military would have is that how many sleepers exist in the military? How many soldiers would decide when
Right.
they start hearing the reports of their hometown getting bombed that they go into the colonel's office with a pistol?
Or they quit, they desert, they go home. Like that happens.
Yeah, exactly, that too.
Right.
The thing is,
I'm sure
what was
that's
it?
more
What was
likely,
it?
honestly.
This is like a 10-year out-of-date study, but the study found that something like 90% of the military would desert if there was a civil war. 90%.
I don't know if that might be true. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how
That's
you
why
even
we must
quantify that. Like, how do
reinforce.
you-
That's why we must reinforce the Zog mentality. Like we have to enforce compliance. We have to enforce ideological.
Well, they're trying to. The best control method that's ever existed is bread and circuses. The problem is that's broken currently. Media's shit,
Right.
and everyone knows it. And the food supply is getting fucked right now.
Mhm.
I don't know
Chili
about
quest
that. Like,
banning
there's still-
guerrilla
it's fun,
combat.
but not really though. Not to the point where it's a problem, right?
But we're seeing the
supply
initial
chains-
strains, and it's not improving.
Yeah.
Right. They're lesser, but we still have more bread than we would know what to do with, so that people are still fat and happy. Even if they're less happy than they were, they're still fat and happy, and that's what's
Well,
important.
no, the
right? As
problem
long
with
as
bread and
they're fat
circuses is you have to keep increasing it.
Right.
If you slow
Yes, that's
down,
true.
if there's a slowdown, that is a death nail. It's just not as
Yes.
fast as cutting it off completely.
It's
It's
not
a
as fast.
slow death,
Yeah.
not a fast death.
True.
And when you start getting like going in the opposite direction, where you start having a large amount of the population, or at least maybe not large, but significant at least enough to where like, oh, this is all bullshit. Then it's like, oh, that's bad news for the people at the top.
Exactly. I mean, what was it? There's a video later on in this where people think, oh, China's going to become the superpower and supplant the U.S. Motherfucker, George Soros made a video against China recently. The elites are divesting China.
I did not
We
know
should
that.
have should have divested China fucking 10 years ago,
Well,
bro.
the thing is, they've got.
God damn.
Well, the reason why they didn't is because they were still profitable. I think China. the
No,
fact that-
dude.
is no
The
longer
reason why
profitable.
they didn't is because our politicians have literally direct backdoor kickback deals with
Mhm.
Chinese importers. They're shutting down domestic production, shipping it over to China, and then making deals with importers. They're marrying
Yeah.
fucking Chinese nationals. They're
But
fucking.
the problem is the
who
elite, like
own-
Soros, is starting to go against China publicly and actively.
Oh, all right, good Goyim. Go with Soros against
no,
China because he
what I'm
wants to.
saying
But here's
is-
the fucking thing: it's the timing thing, isn't it? Now, right? I think was it Ace that pointed this out. Now that it's okay. No, it was Razor Fist. And I think you posted it, Seawall.
Yeah, I posted
Now that it's okay, now that we're discovering that China's kind of a bitch, like, and is incompetent and is Chinese and
Yeah.
communist and sucks dicks.
Exactly. The thing is, the elite.
like-
The problem is though, China is a vindictive little cunt, and they're going to fight back against the elite. So let our
I
two
hope they
enemies fight
do.
each other. Let the two
Yeah,
enemies
right.
fight each other,
I'm with
guys. What?
Yeah, I'm fine with just doing nothing and just
Yeah,
letting
exactly.
it happen.
Actually, you know what? There is something I'm going to
I
do.
like how doing nothing is
Yeah.
like the prevailing
You know what I'm going to do,
ideal
guys? There is something I'm going to
philosophy.
do. I'm going to put a lawn chair out, and I'm going to make myself some popcorn, and I'm just going to
Yeah.
watch.
A rocket lawn chair?
Well, so again, like the only thing, yeah, like I was saying earlier, is do the best you can for yourself, right?
Exactly.
Fuck what's going on outside. You can't do anything about that.
Yeah, dude,
So-
fuck psyops, just vibe,
Yeah.
bro.
That's right. That's right.
Let's get moving along. Sorry, we keep getting caught on tangents.
Yeah, well, that's why we had Ace here.
That's
Yeah, I
why
totally
we're
wanted
here,
this
and
crap.
that's
I
why
wanted
I'm
you to do all this
drinking
crap.
still.
Yep.
Rachel points out, yes, I'm killing my liver. It's been like 3 days straight.
God
But I
damn
tell
it.
you what, it's
take
for a
like one
cause.
day
But
off.
Mijjt, how do you react to this article?
1 second, I'm looking at shit posts.
Oh.
Whatever.
Calling Ottawa protests peaceful downplays nonviolent dangers. Critics say.
Non-violent dangers.
Yeah, the whole will, the actual will of the people coming forward. That is terrible, isn't it?
Non-violent.
There's so many different ways you can read that.
Oh yeah, it's just it is a self-parody. There is
I
nothing
would
you
love
need to
to
do
read
to
the
parody
article
this.
itself. It's too bad that we can't.
Yeah,
It's
they're always
too
behind
short notice.
walls and shit.
Yeah. So.
Even
It's
if
too
you
short
use
notice.
incognito mode, they're still like, no, you gotta pay for it, motherfucker. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, I want to read you.
Calling Ottawa
Please.
protests peaceful downplays non-violent danger.
So what is a nonviolent
Non-violent
danger?
dangers. I would
Critics
love to
say.
see
Critics.
Adina Brezka, true, 100% pure Canadian, fucking explain this to me.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's a native, 1000% pure,
But like,
true
more
northern
importantly, like
crowd.
Ottawa protests calling them peaceful, downplays non-violent dangers. So what are the non-violent dangers?
That other
let's-
people are going to be
The will of the
inspired.
people being actually
I was gonna
heard
say,
and
let's put
enforced.
let's put on our lefty caps, right? Let's put on our lefty caps, and let's figure out what we're supposed to take away from this.
Non-violent dangers.
Well,
Yeah.
probably one of the things they would reference in there is, this is a COVID super spreader event.
I've not
Non-violent.
seen
That's
that
a
yet.
non-violent
I think it's
danger.
It's been stated by some and implied by like Trudeau a little bit.
Sure.
So
Okay.
I
that's
think
so
one of
he's
great
them.
how-
mostly implying transphobia and homophobia and
Well, yeah, because there was like that
racism
one
and
dude
stuff.
who had like a Confederate flag with the
Who was
truck in
told
the
to
middle, like,
leave
Oh, that
immediately by
glowy?
everyone.
Yeah.
glowy, totally glowy with.
Yeah.
Who the fuck does that?
Rejected.
It's
But
retarded.
that doesn't
Oh my
matter.
God.
He showed up, and that's what the media narrative goes
Yeah.
with.
Yeah.
And wasn't it like Justin Trudeau's like personal photographer that was the one
Right there.
taking a picture?
Yeah,
like right
right.
there, taking
Yeah.
a picture.
It was probably Trudeau in one of his many outfits he has. He just like,
Yeah.
He's an actor. We
Pull this out of
highlighted
retirement.
that this
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Well,
yeah.
he was a substitute drama teacher.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Wow. Could you imagine being a substitute drama teacher? Like, fuck being a drama teacher. You're a substitute.
Well, you're not even
drama
like a
teacher.
teaching assistant to a drama teacher.
crisis actor, basically.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
a glowy crisis actor.
You're
Yeah.
the drama teacher having a crisis, so you're a
Uh,
substitute.
Isn't it also amazing how like COVID is such a great thing for them? Because it's like, oh, whenever there's some protest, we can just say, oh, this is too dangerous. Because of
Oh,
COVID.
whenever
as long as
our
we
feeling-
like.
One that we
Whenever-
like, it's fine.
Whenever our failing business fails, oops,
Yeah.
COVID. Oops, whenever our failing industry that we've subverted with woke
Yeah.
ideology is, falling apart at the seams. Oops,
Oh,
COVID.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Not
they
only
think
that-
that's helping them, but the problem is
Right.
that's fucking them over
backfiring.
harder, faster. Because
Yeah.
the thing is, the COVID stuff has made people trust the state less, not more.
Yes. That's
You
right.
know,
Not only that,
the
but-
last bit of the government people trusted was public health. That was the last bit, and that's
Not
gone
only
in the
that,
U.S.
guys, but do you guys have any idea how many jobs Biden has added in his term?
Negative,
Minus
negative.
2,000? 200,000?
It's like 70 billion jobs. It's fucking insane. The dude's adding jobs left and right. Holy shit. Like, we just can't get enough jobs. It's insane. Just people I don't know. I don't know what it is.
I remember a lot of people having a lot of jobs. I remember most people I knew had more than one job when Donald Trump was the president.
And they were
I
happy.
remember that shit.
Yeah.
I remember that shit. I remember a motherfucker couldn't get enough jobs. He was like, shit, they're paying me double overtime.
Yeah. So, well, scooting
Oh,
along
fuck.
to try to get us back on a little bit of track. Hey guys, unfortunately, we have to pack it up. I think the truck protest is over.
Oh no. Can you flash
Picking
me
up
that?
truckers.
Ottawa
Let's
residents are starting to
analyze
counter
their
protest.
efforts.
Driving your big trucks, blocking traffic, harassing locals, making your honking your horns just peaceful. It's small dick energy. Karen hashtag Karen Convoy.
Oh god,
2022.
I think this might be a Poe. I think this might be a Poe that tricked them. Because
so?
Karen Convoy, that is 2 on the nose.
That's like
Hanging in there.
it is, but like
I'm 3rd out of 4.
I can't even distinguish anymore what's fake on
Exactly.
the internet after
it's-
this time.
They're
It's
such
just
a
Poe's
parody of
law.
themselves.
Yeah,
They have rejected reality to such an extent. They are
Yeah,
self-parody.
you're right.
Well, it's been away for like 6 or 7 years, right? That, like,
Yeah.
it's just what is like they're beyond parody. So even your parodies are as good as the
Yeah.
actual like source. I don't know.
And it literally,
thing.
it's like almost like a doctoral level of analysis needed to figure out sometimes. I mean, we've had debates as, is this really a Poe or not? From
We've
Reddit.
had several debates on this show
Yeah.
alone on whether or not something's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
In fact, it does kind of crash the fun of the thing itself, but
Right.
I mean, in a lot of cases, have we not found and surprised ourselves to find that, in fact, it's fake?
yeah,
Yes.
well,
Like I
not
said,
always. 'Cause again,
I was actually thinking about that just today, just this morning. I was thinking, like, we entertain ourselves with these goofy Reddit posts, and shit,
Right.
but we have in the past had fun, like, with analyzing self-awareness. Like,
yeah.
it's fun to make these things up and then post them and then
Yeah.
screenshot them and then you
see
see
all the
the
Twitter rewards people
replies
get.
and and you
Right.
get the prizes and you get the fucking edits. Thanks for the gold.
Well,
thanks
it's
for
sort of like-
the- and like
Yeah. It's also sort of like, how 4chan got people to believe that the OK symbol was a white power sign.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
still incredible.
Yeah.
That's still an incredible.
Oh, they're
moment
doing
in,
they're
like,
doing
pop
more than
culture.
just that.
Oh
It's
yeah.
still a thing. Yeah, that's still
Still.
going
Well,
on.
no, they're doing
Right.
other operations.
Oh, they are. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just 4chan's trying to figure out because they made what was it? Milk is now racist and white supremacist.
Yes.
Yeah.
that's right.
Um,
Imagine trying to read this cardboard sign from like 20 feet away.
Yeah.
You can't read it. It's a
Yeah.
wall of text.
So, like,
yeah.
so real quick in the chat, Jonah is making a good point. Shit libs can't even counter protest without a wall of text. That's a good point. That is a
Look,
really good
you imagine trying
Yeah.
to read this sign from 20 feet away. You
Right.
can't.
like you're
Yeah.
saying, yeah, insane. Like it's so
and,
true.
and the thing is, I can shorten this. Honking horn equals small dick energy.
Right.
That's all you gotta
Right.
do. Oh
Right.
my
That's-
god, holy
Have, like, a
fucking
soy
shit.
jack face in
Yeah.
the middle.
right,
Yeah.
right. Oh my god.
That's
Yeah.
it, you're done.
We have literally rebuilt their meme in like 5 seconds
Or
while
them.
I'm
Like,
while I have
it would be a
alcohol in my
lot-
system.
Stop. And
If
who
they
the fuck
just
will-
made the meme where it was like a Wojak, but it was like a honker, like a honk. He's honking, but he's
Yeah,
honking.
I'm
You know what I mean? Like that. I'm gonna
Uh,
honk or something. That would be funny. That'd be
Uh,
actually like
hilarious.
legitimately like yeah.
But
We
never.
would give them props.
So
Yeah.
well,
I
now
appreciate
we're
it.
moving on
But
to
me-
one of the
like,
meme
me, like,
smiths of our one of our meme smiths.
How is the
Yes.
honker not already a meme?
If
A
it's
little
not
bit. And she even give us a transitional one. Our good friend Katie Zed.
Katie's there.
She's in the chat.
Yep. We need soy
Yep,
voice.
we have quite a few. Oh, okay. I'll be Trudeau.
Yep.
Trudeau. There's a freedom convoy of truckers in Canada right now.
So you're going to talk to them, right?
Shoo.
Where'd he go?
Well, as it turns out, we know precisely,
we
like,
do actually.
to the
4chan
fucking.
found
Yeah,
him.
fortune.
Their
Isn't he
fucking
hiding
credit.
it? Oh yeah,
We know
the
the
fucking
very coordinates
autists.
down to the down to the
the
minutes,
weapons
weaponized
grade
autists.
autists. Found him.
milliseconds of his fucking coordinates. We know to the millisecond. exactly where he was.
Look, I'm in the camp of, you know what? If we have to have a state, let's put 4chan in charge of it.
I'm not
It's-
against that as much.
It's like better than
what I think it would
It's
be.
better than AI. It's better than artificial intelligence because it's
yeah.
genuine autistic intelligence. Like
It's weapons grade at this point, man.
Yeah.
I mean, what was it?
Think
36
of it,
hours
though,
to find a
it's the
flag? Where you
it's
only
the
have a point at the sky?
collectivized-
Yeah, they
It's
all. Yeah.
And they
It's the
literally organized a
collectivized
social media
fucking-
team,
Yeah.
what was it? An astronomy team, a
An
weather
astronomy
team.
Yeah.
Guys literally
Teams.
trying to
Yeah.
figure out based on
Organized.
the crog
Yeah,
of the
the stars
croak of
and
the frogs.
flight paths.
in an
Anarchy-
anarchic setting. No
Yes.
one directed this to be set up.
Right.
Everyone voluntarily
Well, I mean, I'm assuming
participated.
team leads formed,
That
but you
is
know
a
that's
perfect
natural
example
forming.
of anarchy working
Yeah.
Well, that's
amazingly.
yeah, that can.
They're working collectively, but
Yeah.
decentralized. There's no leader.
Oh yeah. As I said,
Someone
they
works
had a
because they
social
want
media
to. It's
team. They
voluntary.
Someone
had
said this is a good idea. We should pursue this end.
And a lot of people agree.
And
Yeah.
even some people who was like, only 2 people agreed. One of them was autistic as fuck and made that shit happen.
Yeah.
And like, and
As
they
I
were
said,
like,
36
well,
hours.
okay, this
The
isn't
Pareto
very
principle,
important.
like
but,
20% of them were really autistic there,
Oh,
and
God.
then
Also, what was it? Remember they figured out what cabin Shia LaBeouf was in too
yes,
Yes.
from
yes,
the
they
video,
did. They
from
found
the
him.
grainy
They found him
videos
in the
they had of
woods.
him.
They just couldn't get to him or whatever it was. Yeah.
They couldn't get to him because it was too isolated, but they found the cabin.
They found him. They found him. That's what matters. That was the
Yeah.
whole
Such a
game
great
was capture
moment.
the flag. We found him. All right.
Yeah.
We found him. It was where's
Was that
where's Shia?
2016?
Oh no, that was post 2016. That was like 2017,
2016.
2018.
27. Okay, yes,
Oh,
that
those
was
were the
2016.
days, you guys.
I think
Those
all
were
of
the
it was
days.
2016,
Back when-
2017.
2016 was a wild year for
Back
like
when-
just everything.
No, it was
back when
2017, 2018,
Magic
'cause
was
Trump-
magical, and
Yeah.
like there was
Right.
still hope for like a political solution, and like
Oh,
you
no,
were
there
still,
wasn't.
No,
No, there
you were
wasn't.
hoping that like maybe, just maybe, meme magic was real, but
Oh,
Well, it
now,
turned out
you
it was
know,
real,
we're-
but you
we're all
know,
bearded and like gaunt and fucking sunken eye sockets and like 1,000-yard stare, and it's just like beyond redemption at this point. It's just fuck. Like, what do we do?
Well, I know one person we can ask what to do because he keeps getting away with it.
oh,
Ace,
there he is.
are you going to be getting away with it too now?
I certainly hope so.
I hope so. Yeah, I hope the man don't come knocking down that door.
Yeah. But yeah. God, Sam High just keeps.
That is
cropping
the
up. It's
solution,
hilarious.
though. I'm with Sticks
Yeah.
on this one. Clinky clank, because I mean, the solution is to just pump Ukraine full of small arms. Just small arms.
Yeah.
Just fucking rifles.
Well, also at the end of the day, Russia's probably only going to take the eastern part of Ukraine. They've got no
yeah,
interest
who
in the
cares?
western part.
Like, what the fuck?
Well,
They want the
I mean-
eastern part where there are,
so
pro-Russian elements.
I think
Yeah,
I think
who
it really
cares?
I think it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it should matter to us in the first place. It's not like, first of all, it's not our fight. Like that's. I mean, other than of course we have billionaires over there, millionaires who have important
Hidden
jobs.
slush funds.
Deep
Or the
fucking
director.
connection.
Politicians
Yeah.
need to launder their money somewhere.
That's
Right,
right.
exactly. So other than that, there's no real reason. There's no strategic reason to have.
I think there is some strategic reason with pipelines coming from the Middle East that go through part of the area that will
But
become
again,
Russian
like,
controlled.
that's not our fight, right? That's not our fight.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm in the
mean,
camp of, hey, Europe, maybe you should have accepted Trump's plan to set up deliquification plants on your coastline.
Wait
And just
a
have the-
minute,
and have the US
Seawall.
just
Are you
send you
saying
liquefied natural
Orange
gas?
Man Bad was right the whole fucking time, like
not
6
about
years
everything.
ago, and like
Not about every
Jesus.
single
No,
thing,
I'm just
but a
saying,
lot of
of
them.
course not. But
Yeah.
goddamn, like it's so many things. The border, like the economy, fucking jobs and shit like that. Dude, he was right the whole fucking time, people. But you know what? No more mean tweets, you guys.
Yes, no more mean tweets.
Oh, 2024 is going to be fun, boys.
2022
God.
is gonna be fun.
Imagine if it's Trump and Hillary again. That'd be so
well,
funny.
my
Oh, God,
that'd be
my esteemed governor is running for re-election, and you can bet that motherfucker is about to win that shit.
Well, yeah, because the thing is, there were worries that he would have gotten, fortified out of his position. Is that the term we can
Well,
use?
yeah,
Yeah.
we've
No,
been
that's the term we
steady
use.
at work.
Like,
We've been
Defortifying.
steady at work,
Yeah.
unfortifying
Yeah.
our elections.
Defortifying. Yeah.
Well, you know what though? Honestly, Florida's pretty cool. Like we have 2 weeks of early voting at any polling location. Like honestly, you have no
And
excuse.
if that's not enough,
Right, you have no excuse. You can
Yeah.
show up with an ID and fucking cast your vote anywhere.
Yeah.
In your fucking county. Show
Yeah.
up. Like, and it's fucking. I worked this shit for
hell,
2
I'm in
cycles.
Texas, and I think we have a week of early voting. I early voted last election.
It's so easy. Most people here in Florida, I think I saw a statistic was like 80 or 90% of people actually early voted.
Yeah.
Of
Like,
course.
it's
You find
nothing-
time. Yeah.
Right, you find the time between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. You can show up to any
Or
literally.
on a Saturday.
Yeah,
But,
you
like,
can 7
yeah.
days a week for 2
Like-
fucking weeks solid.
Yeah.
Like I said, I
also
was
made the
working this
pledge
bitch.
that, like, I'm not voting again. Like, you're not gonna catch me voting again. Like, it's not
Yeah, I
happening.
know. He still votes, right? Like implying.
maybe at like the super local level. Like, I'm talking about like my county at the highest. Like, other than that, I'm not interested. And just because like for legal reasons, I will obey all laws, of course. But yeah, I mean, so I'm just gonna
We're
do
speaking in the
whatever-
Yeah,
hypothetical here.
you obey
Yeah,
all laws, but you're
hypothetically.
doing so under duress.
Right, exactly. Yes, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I will be obeying all laws, no matter how under duress. And but if something I do happens to bump up against one of those laws, then so be it. I'll deal with it at the time. But I'm gonna do what I feel is right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's about it.
And moving on, so because we keep getting distracted.
Maybe pissing into the wind.
Perhapsly, yeah. I
Memeing,
heard
really?
that to do, 'cause when pissed back,
Man of
You're
your
saying-
talents.
yeah. Katie Zed, another Katie Zed meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's providing a lot of fertile.
She's a good meme smith.
And meme finder.
she makes a lot of-
She's also a meme hunter gatherer.
yes.
That's right. We've
She
decided
hunts,
she's a
gathers,
ranger.
and smiths
Yeah.
memes.
Yep.
Wow, like a druid, a meme druid.
It says it's too hard to vote in Florida, as if you would know.
Yeah.
No, dude, it's super easy. Like, I've
So
not
easy.
even
You
tried to
have no
vote before.
excuse.
It's fucking
No
insane.
excuse.
Yeah. So scooting along to the next one. Johns Hopkins study had lockdowns had little to no effect on COVID-19 mortality, but had devastating effects on society.
Oh, no way. Oh my god.
Imagine my
I'm
shock.
shocked.
By the way, have any of you guys
Imaging.
actually seen the Star Trek animated series?
I've seen part of the first episode.
It was
of it.
pretty tolerable.
Yeah.
Fucking
It was.
garbage. What are you talking about?
It was tolerable because
it
it
was
was
fucking
campy. It was funny.
garbage. Yeah,
It
well,
was-
okay, yeah. When you're like 15 and you're getting stoned with your little buddies and you're like, oh my god, so funny. Yeah, okay, fine, it's great then. But like any other context,
John,
oh my
okay,
God,
you
it's
have
awful.
two choices. You can either watch the original series Star Trek cartoon,
No,
or you can watch Star Trek
I like
Discovery.
how my nigga probably owns the DVD. He probably
I
owns the
don't.
DVD set. Like, and that's
Me?
why you
No,
know.
'cause
Yeah,
I-
right.
So,
No, I don't. I watch it on Netflix. I don't actually own this DVD. I do need Star Trek DVDs, but you're right about like me with physical media. You saw the collection I've got.
That's right.
It is expansive.
Veritable.
Yeah, it is. I do have a large
Huge.
collection of physical media.
huge.
What's that?
Huge.
Huge.
Yeah, it is huge.
And,
Because they can't change physical media. They keep changing shit on like Facebook and not Facebook, Netflix and like HBO and all those kinds of things. They change. They like exclude episodes of shows and stuff. So I just buy the physical media, and they
all
can't do
them
that. Then, 'cause
episodes,
I've got
my
it.
nigga.
Like
All
well,
of them.
physical media is
Everything.
dying, but there are
Yeah, of course.
there are
Yeah.
ways to get it.
There are
We'll
always
leave it at
ways, of
that
course.
and move on.
Yes.
There are always ways.
So here we go. Start with memes from Katie Z in response to this. Where should we start?
someone. Let's talk and get to know each other. Where should we start?
Yep.
Yeah. I would say. Ooh. I would go with,
dude, I'm
don't
all
quote
over
my
that
stuff, Craig, but I
wheel.
was trying to-
Anywhere. Hey, let's get started, baby. Like, let's
Right.
party.
Yeah,
I'm down. Like, I could talk about any of these
Spin the
subjects
wheel.
in detail. Like, I have a degree. Like,
In each of those.
baby,
In
I
each
could
of them,
I could put it down on you in all kinds of ways. Like, let's go.
And
Right.
we've got a meme from another buddy of ours, not Katie Zed, but Stephen Ignoramus.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I love this one.
What if I told you you're inside the meme? Whoa, Morpheus is looking at us, guys. We are the meme.
We are the
Holy
meme
shit.
picture.
That just blows my mind, dude. No, that is cool. And also, big love to Stephen Ignoramus. It's fucking awesome, dude. One of my- one
Look,
of my
he's a
BFFs.
little nutty, but we love him to death like a brother.
Yeah. Yeah, he's my brother from another mother,
Yeah.
for sure.
And the next one comes from Soup Canarchist, Jessica Green.
Yeah, she's awesome too. I flex my butt cheeks to the beat of whatever song is on. I've been doing it for years.
Priest.
Priest.
Once
Go
again,
ahead.
kind of weird, but not a sin.
But the thing is, I do that too. I don't know. I didn't know I was the only one. I wasn't the only one who does that. Like, I thought
Well,
it was-
isn't that the power of memes? Like, you
Right.
discovered that you're not alone.
I'm glad I'm not alone.
It's
Now,
a
now I can speak out and be brave.
it's
Right.
right.
Break
It's a
this down.
cosmic experience.
And the next one comes from the very effective
Very
Jack
spiritual.
Posobiec, or Turkestan ambassador Poso.
Truckistan. What a great name, Truckistan.
Well,
I fucking love the internet, dude.
Well, also something else. We don't have any images of it, but have you guys seen the images of them building like a proper soup kitchen in the
Yes.
fucking street?
Yes.
Absolutely.
And it's
Almost
like, and
even
then you compare it
incentive,
to Chaz.
People will do things. Yeah. Oh, they know what they're doing. Yeah. They've got
Yeah.
actual skills.
Yeah, you know.
They're not trying to plant
Yeah.
a garden on concrete. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, they were
they're
planting a garden on grass, which they
on
tried to do it
cardboard on grass.
cardboard on
Cardboard on
soil they
grass,
bought
that's
from Home
right.
Depot.
Cardboard on grass. No, these guys, they put together a shed out of 2x4s and
Hell,
fucking
they've got a fully functioning pizza oven out there.
pizza ovens, bro.
Fuck
They
yeah.
got pizza ovens. They cranking them out, bro. It's cheap though, honestly.
Yeah,
and
it's a
this is
wood-fired
something
pizza
that more
oven.
people should do, guys. Seriously,
yeah.
wheat.
Counter economic action right in front of
No,
them.
you just
Right.
grind wheat into powder, and then you mix it with a little bit of eggs and water. You make bread or like dough, and then
Wow,
next thing you know, you've got something cheap, dude.
Right.
Tomatoes,
Easy to make.
tomato sauce, and toppings, cheese, like so fucking easy and cheap
Yeah.
to make. And if you're self-sufficient, dude, you can on a half an acre, you can fucking do this every goddamn day. You can enjoy the fruits of your own labor. You can be self-sufficient and meaningful if you don't count or give your own responsibilities up to someone else.
Right.
God damn, dude, it's painfully obvious, but it's
Well, so-
and
but that's the
it's
thing, it's like-
natural, but
Every time I get ready to be like, oh my god, this person's a fucking retard. I always think, and of course, I think
that's
they're a
all I
retard.
think every
People always
day is, oh my god, this person is a retard.
But I also think, hang on, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I was in the same position. I thought the same retarded shit 6 or 7 years ago.
Hmm.
Like, I haven't always been an anarchist. I haven't always been a libertarian or a
Dude,
minarchist. or
come
whatever.
on now.
Like-
You can't encounter the fucking average person that you do on Twitter as you do and say 6
I
years
didn't
ago
say
you
everyone. I
ever
didn't say
thought-
everyone. I just
The-
that's
the-
that's what I try to do. It doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
I'm always like, God damn, you're fucking like you can't.
Well, that's all I ever think is, God damn, this person is retarded. How do they exist? Like, how do you manage to breathe
Right. I
consciously?
definitely have those thoughts too. I definitely have how do you have a driver's license? Like, how did you go down to
Right,
the
yeah.
DMV, figure out how to get in line, and then figure out how to fill out the form, and then figure out how to you know what I mean?
Where to
Because-
stand to
how
get your
do you do
picture
that?
taken,
Yeah, how
and
do
in
you
which
even
direction to
manage that?
fucking look in. How did you manage to breathe the whole time and not choke? Like,
Wow.
Right.
unbelievable.
Well, moving on to something that's I
These
would call it
people
unbelievable,
vote.
but
They
definitely
use
funny.
those IDs
coming from,
that they get. Like,
Coming
Oh,
from
God, yeah.
Senator Ted Cruz, of all people. Inflation's out of control. Gas prices are up. Food prices are up. Lumber prices are up. and tickets to Cancun are up 32%. He just defanged that meme that they try to use to take it down.
Yeah, I kind of respect that, not because he's not like a fucking piece of shit. Obviously, he is.
Oh, all
But
right.
I
Let
respect
me.
him for leaning into the meme, into the joke,
And thus defanging it. He's
thereby
now taking away its power.
from it.
You
Yeah,
are
taking away his power.
literally making a joke out of people in your state actually freezing to death
Yeah,
while you fled the country. It's fucking disgusting. You're a disgrace to America and an embarrassment to our government. What a fucking asshole.
fuck this guy. Oh my god, that's so
You
funny.
look pregnant.
And then what liberals think Ted Cruz should be doing. It's like, guys,
Very
he's not an
He's
electrician.
a politician. He's
He's a
what's best
politician
for
with
him,
money.
as always. Yeah.
Of course he's going to be not in the place that is in the middle of a 100-year polar fucking vortex.
Right.
No one with
He's a
half a brain's
politician,
going
but
like,
he's
yeah.
gonna stick around and like, what is he gonna do? Like, fucking pass sandbags to people? I don't know what the fuck
Yeah.
they're doing. That's what we do in Florida. We
Yeah.
pass sandbags to each
That's
other. 'cause
right.
the
That's
hurricane's
Also,
coming.
kind of speaking of
But-
Texas
other than
politics a little bit, so are you guys ready to watch a paraplegic rape a man in the ass? I never thought it was
Always.
possible, but
No, well, we'll see. Yeah.
Always, yeah. I'm always
Yeah.
ready to see that.
well, Beto O'Rourke is the current front runner for the Democrats in the gubernatorial election.
In what?
Be-
In Texas?
Beta
You can't be
O'Rourke
serious.
is
They're-
saying
they're
he's going to
not
make
really
a run for the
seriously
governor.
Considering Beto O'Rourke.
Yeah, they're considering him.
Like, is there no one else? Like, literally,
I mean, there's a
not
couple
an old
of-
leather shoe
I mean, there's
that you pulled out of the river. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if like the mayor of Austin or San Antonio or Houston wouldn't try to make a run for it.
God, but they're all lib
Who are
cups.
they? No one knows who they are.
Exactly.
Who the
They're
fuck
like-
are they? Yeah.
The Democrats are right. All right, yeah, let's pick the furry. Let's get him.
Oh God.
Let's get the
He
furry.
rides a skateboard.
Yeah, he's cool and hip. Hell, hey,
His
fellow
fur-
kids. Yeah.
That's right. His persona
And,
has abs.
and next Ted Cruz meme, well, more particularly sharing, U.S. bobsled team renames their sled to Biden because nothing has taken America downhill faster.
Dude,
You
gold medal on
you
the way.
fucking mad lads.
Gold medal.
Is that true though? Do
on
we
the
have like
way.
confirmation that's true?
Hold
Yeah,
on.
see, here we go, being all autistic and taking the fun
I
out of things.
know,
We
but,
have
like,
to determine if this is
uh,
real.
Okay, I want to at least put the speculation out there that it might not be, because of course,
Right. You want
there's
to
no
you want to be
real-
reasonable,
we're
right?
spreading
You don't want to get,
misinformation.
you don't want to get had.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to get hacked.
I'm skeptical of this one because it sounds too good to be true. But
Genesius times.
Okay, coming from Snopes, no, the U.S. bobsled team didn't
Saskaguchi.
name sled Biden. The claim originated
Xavier
with the website that bills
Saskaguchi.
itself as a mostly reliable source of fake news on the planet. So it's probably just a
That's
meme.
right. That's awesome.
It's just a satire site. See,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, here we go. Not having fun, you guys.
Labeled
That's right.
satire.
No
so,
fun. No fun unless it's truth.
Yeah.
But no, that is funny though. That's a good one.
Misinformation and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh no, if
Yeah,
it came
I'm
from
seeing
like
it pop up on AR15.com, the Genius Us Times, which is the referenced one in the article, but
Genesius times.
Genesius Times.
Genesius. I don't know what that is. Okay.
Probably.
Xavier Saskaguchi brought us this article here.
It
Yeah.
says O'Rourke. Pedo O'Rourke.
That's
Quest for
fantastic.
Pedo Cook,
I love it.
Yeah.
We need to make that happen.
Pedo Fish. There's some good names.
Beta
in this. Yeah.
I like Pedo O'Rourke.
Pedo O'Rourke is a good one. Yeah.
Pedo O'Cuck.
Pedo O'Cook is
That's
That's
too.
He's
Yeah.
still like recognizable as his
Right,
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
You have to understand. It's one or the other. There's got to be the Beto reference or the O'Rourke reference. Like you
The
gotta,
Cook, yeah, the Cook
you
reference, yeah.
you can't muddle them both because then it muddles the whole thing.
Right, you
Moving
don't
on
know
to the
what
next meme from
Yeah, we don't
Ted.
know what we're getting at.
And this also brings us into the next topic.
Oh, God.
CNN.
the most busted name in news. I like it. That's a really good tagline for them.
Yeah. Well, what was it? They've lost, 3 or 4 prominent members?
I think 4,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's only been, a year? Maybe?
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But remember, you're a conspiracy theorist if you think that the media and the government are run by pedophiles.
Yeah, so.
Right, that's absolutely
Don't think
absurd.
that. It
That's
only
And
happens when we
here's
get
the next
caught
one
all the time.
from
yeah,
Arvolt.
it
I
only
think he's one of the
happened
friends of the
several
show,
times.
or one we hope is a friend. Just
Who's that?
CNN.
I didn't see who it was. That's fine.
Arvolt. 24.
Oh yeah. He's cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's alright.
So yeah, look at this. Is this not CNN at this point?
What
Yeah,
is this
exactly.
reference, by the way?
This is from
I'm
a show
showing my new
called
fag.
Person of Interest. And
Never
there's a
seen it.
scene
All right,
in
see,
one
I
of the
don't
later
browse
seasons.
TV.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I don't watch TV
It's a good
either. I
series
haven't watched
because the
TV
thing
in
is, it's
years.
from before Hollywood went completely woke.
No, I don't browse. I'm sure it's Kino.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's Kino, but I don't get the reference because I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
browse TV.
Yeah.
But like, I've seen the meme, of course.
Yeah,
But
it's
I don't know the sauce.
one faction being
I
held
need
hostage
sauce.
by the other faction, being hostage by the first
What's it
faction, then being
called?
held hostage by the second faction again.
What's it
Person
called?
of
I guess
Interest.
unknowingly would be the bottom one. Would be unknowingly held
Yeah.
hostage by right because they're
Yeah. So moving on to the next one, to the right to bear memes. CNN, sex
Also a good
scandals.
account.
Sex scandals, CNN.
Like Scandal show right behind him. That was also a good episode of The Simpsons. That was back before The Simpsons got ridiculous.
See, and that's why memes are great because it references not only what's actually happening in these three panels, but also if you're familiar with the episode and the context of this
Right.
scene, right, then you understand that like the deeper idea being implied here.
Absolutely.
See, you have to Sneed sells feed and seed. Chuck, on the other hand,
That's right.
Uh,
Sneed sells feed and seed.
Hey,
Chuck, on the other hand,
you guys want our Daily
Chuck
Stone Toss
sells,
comic?
Oh,
Daily Stone Toss. Yeah.
Daily
let's do
Stone Toss.
All right, Pebble Chuck, here we go. And you should try marijuana, psilocybin, DMT. And he's like, Soy Boy's cool with it. Yeah,
He's
I'm
like,
down.
yeah.
And ivermectin.
Oh no.
That
There you go.
alone, the word that I just said might fucking get us. Like
No,
it might
luckily
it might send JF running for the hills.
Oh my god.
Let's not reference
Oh,
that,
shit.
guys.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
no, fuck it. He's
That's
not coming
funny.
back.
Yeah.
Like he's not coming back. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that
I
was
love how
funny.
in this panel his hoodie is "I love chimps" on it.
Right.
Yeah.
He talks
Yeah.
about that's another reference to another meme. Like that's what's so
Well, yeah,
great.
it's a reference to like he's talking about like a chimpanzee like taking a
Yeah.
bite out of a monkey.
Yeah, well, he's like, yeah, chimpanzees are insane. Like, there's a whole meme about as a panel.
Yeah.
Several panels of like, chimpanzees will rip your, arm off. Or
Oh,
whatever.
they are
Like,
more warlike than humanity is.
Well, they're very, very Hoppian in that nature and physical removal, as it were.
Well, it's more than just physical removal.
No,
They
no,
kill all the
and
males of
obviously-
the other tribe and claim the females.
And obviously, that's the
You know
meme
what?
of Hoppian removal. I know that that's not what he's
Yeah,
actually talking
so-
about, but yeah.
You know what though?
I do enjoy that meme though.
Reject modernity. Return to monkey.
That's right.
So
Return to
got
the
the
monkey.
got the next meme from dudes posting their W's. The fucking bro code.
Oh yeah, I love this.
Oh yeah.
What's the worst thing a woman has done on the first date? She literally asked what was their most expensive drink. The waiter then met my eyes, and the bro code kicked in. Bishow! He just kept saying everything was out of stock. God bless him. Cross yourself. Where he is now. I went back to give him a tip, but he even declined. My man.
Fucking bro code.
So fucking king, right? Hang on though. I want to say something though. And the girl's defense, if I might, and hear me out. In the girl's defense, usually when a woman gets the most expensive thing on the menu, most expensive drink, most expensive food, whatever it is, it means she's gonna put out that night. So dude cock-blocked himself. I'll bet you he cock-blocked himself.
Well, can
That's
we
usually
explore
what that
further into this gentleman's heritage and perhaps see ourselves. Maybe in the replies we could find some spicy sauce.
I don't know if
How
you have
is this a
sauce.
W? I drink the most expensive drink as well. Oh, simps in the chat. All right, y'all demand
Milady should
anything.
have the same drinks that I have.
That's right. I have
I don't know.
Patron, if
I
you
don't know about that.
please.
Oh, Patron. Oh my god. Yeah.
I like how he's saying, "How is this a W?" Like I drink the most expensive drinks. Well, yeah, but you're the one who chooses. You're paying
Yeah.
for it.
Right. You're
Like
paying
you're the
for it.
one.
Well, also, you're saying with the woman's defense, like she's going to put out that night. I mean, if she's going to cost me that much, why shouldn't I just hire a professional?
Ace, imagine
I mean, you
comprehending
could,
the implications of your own statements.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ. Going through life thinking about what you're trying to say with metacognition? Like, come on.
Oh my god.
You
Insane.
can't just post things on the internet and not think
Exactly.
what they could possibly imply.
Exactly.
Right. Of course.
Scooting along to the next one. Fucking some what was it? Wood chipper behavior right here
Yes.
from
King.
Brazil.
So I'll tell the tale de los macacos. A 15-year-old dude pretended to be a 14-year-old girl on Tinder. A pedo started to talk to him. They agreed to go out. When they arrived, the pedo was expecting a 14-year-old girl. What he found was a 15-year-old boy dressed up as Spoodermons
Yes, Spooderman.
that beat his fucking ass. That's
Amazing.
right, dude. He fucking jumped on him and
Amazing.
fucking Spider-Man his ass.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Honorary.
Welcome to Brazil, my
Well,
friends.
I'll call him
Welcome
a
to
prince.
Brazil.
He's not of age yet. He's a prince, not a king.
He ain't no
not of
king.
age.
He's a prince.
He's a
Right,
prince.
he's not
I
of
wonder
age.
if
But he's well on his
I
way.
wonder if this was in a
Oh, yeah.
favela,
Yeah.
like somewhere.
Yeah, Ace, remember, you're very pro wood chipper.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Question is,
See, for some reason,
feet
no,
first
you
or head
don't
first?
understand, Ace. He's fixated on this. He's focused on this for like 3 days ago. He tried to make sure that you were, you know.
It's true. Yeah.
well, the
he's
reason
like-
why is because
he's
there are
stuck on
anarchists
this,
that are
man.
anti-wood chipper and ask, well, age of consent doesn't
Well-
matter, man. Age is just a number.
Oh, you're talking
There's
about
an-
bottom right.
there's
You're
an
talking about
element-
bottom right.
Hang on,
There's
Those
an element of
fucking
that movement that
Dorama-
has that.
Well, hang on, guys, chill. Let Ace acknowledge this because I know he's about to fucking rip this shit a new one.
All
Yeah.
right, well,
So there's
Behold.
there's two things here. First, there is a meme from the outside of libertarianism that says that I think is just like made up, completely made up, and has no basis. Where they'll say that, oh, well, libertarianism just defends pedos because it's like, well, what if the meme is like, well, what if the child consents, right? That's
Right.
like kind of the meme against libertarianism. Now there are some people, some very demented libertarians who do not understand like libertarian philosophy that genuinely do take that take. But it's a bullshit thing because it's like the child cannot consent. So it's not a
Cannot.
matter
Yeah.
of consent
Cannot.
because they can just not do it.
cannot
Yeah,
are not capable.
they're not capable
intrinsically.
of it. In this, yeah,
By
exactly.
nature.
They're
Let
just
him finish his point, though, Midget. Let him finish his point.
no. I mean that was mainly my point, unless you were
Okay,
referring to something else.
You
Yeah.
said, well, no, you said two things, so that was one thing. So okay,
Oh
so
no. But the first thing was like people from the outside do it, and
Right.
then who aren't libertarians. And the second thing was there are some libertarians, some like
Gotcha.
demented libertarians who do take that tact, and I think they're just completely wrong.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I know there was some drama earlier. I think today or yesterday. I can't remember
Yesterday.
now. About it's today. Yeah, about a certain person that people say is libertarian but isn't actually and does not profess to be. Who was talking about that
Yes.
sort of thing? Yeah, I'm not. I don't want to. I don't know if you want to say his name out loud.
Oh,
here.
I mean, we can say, yeah.
You-
I mean, it's up to you. It's your show, so I'll let you guys decide.
I
that.
don't know. I don't mind. I don't know if you want.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
it
so
was
Thaddeus
Thaddeus
Russell.
Russell.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, was saying those same things. He was saying on a clip, and people were thinking like, "Oh, this is the libertarian position,"
Yeah,
but like he's
yeah.
not a libertarian. Does not profess to be. Never
No.
professed to be, but he's taken as that for whatever reason.
I think we actually
not
have that
sure.
clip.
Really?
Possibly.
Let's
So-
hear it. Let's
Well,
hear. Let's
It's
hear
later in
it.
the show. It's later in the show.
Oh, later in the show. Okay.
I mean, I could try
Gotcha.
to find it.
Oh no, I thought you were gonna play the wood
I
chipper
think that's it
sounds.
right there.
I thought that's what you're
Yeah.
setting it up for.
No. The wood chipper sound comes later. Don't worry. I'll have that queued up
Right,
pretty
right.
quick. So,
Okay, yeah, we'll do that later then. We'll get it back into
and
that
then
later.
this is the
Yes.
meme that from earlier
Yeah.
that we were referencing.
I love that
Yes.
Yeah. Yep. I mean,
So,
No,
Dave,
it's so true.
my biggest
Yeah.
contention that with anarchism is, I mean, everyone says, oh, you know, you're talking about like the 2,000 years of what was it of Ireland that was
Ireland.
anarchist. And my
That's
position
later on
is,
too.
weren't there
Pull that up.
famous feuds that led up to basically genocidal wars that killed a bunch of uninvolved people?
Well, so there's parts of, so not all of ancient Ireland exactly had that format. It was a specific part of ancient Ireland, right? So there were feuds there. So there were these things called tuaths, right? And they were these like kind of like
Yes.
little groups of people, like these families and or like mini tribes within the settlements. And they would often have these disputes, which would sometimes lead into like violent altercations. But what made it unique is that they didn't really have any central structure above them. There was no like state of monopoly on violence above them. And certainly, while you can say that, oh, you know, there's certainly violence that we can point to here, it's certainly less than monopoly on violence. The violence monopolies generally committed during that same time period.
Yeah.
So if you look at the numbers, it's not as much. So it's not a perfect. It's not a. No one's claiming utopia,
and
but it's
that's-
better in
and that-
relation.
and that's why I also point out towards more towards the kind of minarchist perspective.
Mhm.
Because the thing is, I do believe that there are times. Because the thing is, obviously, if you strip the state of enough, even though it technically has the monopoly on violence, it has no means of carrying it out except on very limited bases. And I'm in the camp of there should be a final court that says, no, shut up. We don't want you killing each other, which could then involve uninvolved people.
Right, but I think my response to that would be like, how do you ensure then the court is going to rule your way even then, right? So even if you did have a final court, there's no way to say that that court would rule that way. So you would still
they're gonna pick a side.
Right, yeah, they're going to
then
pick a side,
and then
but
the other side has to live with it.
Right, but they could, if you have the final arbiter and you say, well, we just have to do what the final arbiter says, then the final arbiter could say something very bad, and then I think so you have that problem of like, well, do we commit to this because that's our principle, or do we say no, we're just going to ignore this?
So interesting thing. Since I didn't bring it up. Since ancient Ireland was brought up, if you check Seawall in our back channel, what I just posted the link there. I think we should play that next. I think that'll be really good.
Can I wasn't here for most of what I heard, but what I heard was the end of that. So basically though, I think the question that I want to pose for the moment is this. In an anarchist society wherein a community enforces more or less through social means a culture and certain things are expected, how do we decide, as I think you were getting at, Ace, how do we decide what is an important tradition to adhere to and what is one that should be forsaken for pragmatic purposes? How do we go about deciding those things and shaping the culture? We can't surely be stagnant. We have to. We have to choose.
I don't think that's necessarily a question for anarchism in particular. So,
certainly not. Certainly not.
So I think
what is the ideal proposal is what I'm getting at. Like, what is?
Are you saying like what is the ideal culture specifically?
No, what is the ideal cultural practice? One that when encountering a situation that is, what do you say?
He's kind of bringing up FMA. He's kind of bringing up Hoppa's physical removal. But kind of from the meme perspective and not from what Hoppa actually says.
No, I'm not. But what I'm asking is
but like it's about enforcing a certain culture on
Aberrant,
like the group
yeah,
of people around
cultural
you, on like
practices.
your
Yeah,
own community? How do you enforce culture without
Oh,
violating like
okay.
the
Well,
NAP or
social
something like
pressure,
that?
Sure.
that's
That's what he's
always
kind
been
of
the
talking about.
case.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah.
Social pressure always has had
Social
more
pressure. Yeah.
right.
power,
Social pressure,
or has
exactly.
had more effective
Ostracism.
power
but
than
like
violence.
what? But no, by what means does the society come to
Well,
a mutual
choose?
agreement that
democracy at that point.
some
Majority
traditional
rule.
practice in some particular instance is maybe perhaps not the best pragmatic solution, and instead we should go with the practice that the individual whose rights we should respect
Yeah.
have chosen.
Sure. So I think from an anarchist perspective, we have to kind of separate these two things between like whether this cultural practice is violating other people's rights
Right. To
versus
what
whether it's just more
degree can this
aesthetic.
person like interact with the rest of what they
Sorry, can you say that
do?
one more time? I
To
didn't hear
what
that.
degree is that what you're saying? To what degree can this person whose aberrant cultural practices, exist? To what degree can they interact with the extant culture, in which they,
Sure. Um,
interact?
So I think if there's a certain cultural practice that is violating people's rights, you would be justified in like stopping it with force, right? But as far as other like how people come to a consensus on which cultural practices are like I guess legitimate for that culture, I think
Yeah.
that is ultimately in some sense just going to be have to like there's no like how culture is created. Culture isn't really created in a formal way. Like people don't really
You're right.
sit down and get
Well,
You don't
together.
need a state to do it, do you?
Right? No, not at
Right.
No,
all.
but the
Not at
problem
all.
is at the end of the day, it
So,
tends to be
hang on,
51% decides.
guys.
Well,
Yeah, no,
but
that's not true though. But guys, let him finish his point though before you respond. Let him finish
yeah,
the point.
I'm just saying, like, ultimately, it's not necessarily 51% in democratic sense because it's usually not winner takes all, right? So in a political democratic sense, the winner takes all, and then they force their opinion on the minority. I
Right.
don't think that always has to be the case. For example, with culture or just like with markets,
Well-
if there's something dominant in the market, like if some product is dominant, it doesn't mean I can't purchase the other product, right?
It would be
So if some
prevalent, but not
it would be
Exactly.
prevalent.
The problem is you're saying that
Yeah.
force is authorized if you're violating someone else's rights. But what
Yes.
if the 51% say enslaving others forcibly is okay?
Well, then you can stop that. Well, I mean,
And
there's a practical problem in the
Right.
sense that you're outnumbered, but you
Yeah.
would be justified in stopping them. Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be
Right.
justified. The problem is you are the minority population in there, and
Yes.
then
No
you're
one's saying
enslaved
you're going to
because
succeed.
you lose
No
the
one's saying
fight.
you're going to succeed in that
Thus,
though. No one
might
is saying
makes
you're going to
right
succeed.
in that situation.
Well, it might
No, it doesn't make
just I
right.
would say it might just is, but yeah.
It makes
Let me
might is
point out that
It does not
this
make right. You just are.
Yeah.
You are might. That's
right
it.
no let me point out that all of this it all conjoins into the idea that there is an intrinsic value or right that exists in a person being
Mhm.
a human.
Yes.
That
Mhm.
right.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
all of this philosophy that we're discussing is centered on that idea.
Right.
Could you imagine? And I think there are people who do not feel the same.
Oh
That
yeah, there's certain
intrinsic
people.
rights are not inherent, but in your existence, but conferred upon you by some society or fucking social contract
Yeah,
or
Yeah.
whatever
I
you
think
want to
that's
call it.
completely illogical because it's like if it's not a right at that point, right? It would
Well,
just be privilege.
what do
So,
we
hang on,
do with
hang on,
people?
real quick,
What
real
do
quick.
we
Hang
do?
on,
Mhm.
hang on. Let's start with this. Let's define what a right is.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think that's the best
So
place to start. That way we're on the same
absolutely.
page. Yeah, that's the best way
So
to go about it.
a right is I would define a right as a justified claim or action to do something or to have ownership over a particular
I
thing.
like my nigga
Um,
had an answer to the question right away.
Well, no, I
and
know.
and
That's
also
why I asked. That's why I
rights
asked that question. That's why it's
and
important.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Right.
I was just saying that's important. That's why I asked to clarify the definitions.
Yeah.
That way we're on the same page. I knew Ace would. I mean, we have the same definition, I'm sure, of what rights are. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's important that we know when we're talking about rights, we're talking about the same thing. We're not talking about
Yeah.
rights versus privileges, which are different things,
Yes.
right? So
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And also,
Ace.
rights. So if a right is a justified claim or action to a particular thing, then that also entails an obligation on all other parties to respect that right. That doesn't mean they
Indeed.
will respect that right, but it just imposes an
It's
obligation on
inherent
them
in the
too.
definition.
That's right. It's a flip
Because it's
side.
fundamental to the perspective that a human has to have that there is a societal or spiritual connection he has to the rest of his family or whatever by extension, he feels fit.
Yeah, the best way I've been able to describe what rights actually can exist and are tangible is you're dumped naked and alone in a forest. What can you do?
What can you do?
Yeah.
What can you do? Right.
You can express your
Exactly.
thoughts. You can defend yourself.
That's
You
what
can claim
natural rights
property.
are. Right. That's the best way to describe natural rights is
Yeah.
through isolation. Like you are alone on a deserted island, but you have resources, whatever it is.
There are
right?
people who cannot
do with that
conceive
what your
that.
rights
They
are.
can't.
Like,
They
that's-
can't imagine that though. They're
No, I know.
incapable.
Yeah. No, there are people who exist like that. And they'll always exist no matter what system you're
Yeah.
in.
I
So
also
why
did.
make there-
Oh,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead. No, you're the guest. Go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just gonna say, back on the 51% claim, I forgot to talk about this a little bit. So it's true that like if you're in a society and 51% of the population thinks that's like enslaving you is okay or something like that, that's certainly a problem. But I don't think that's a unique critique against anarchism, right?
That's a flaw in all systems. But what I'm saying is,
right.
The anarchism doesn't have a fail-safe for that.
Well, I would argue neither does the state, right? So like you could say that you could say that the state fails safe. What if 51% of the people in the not the population, not the people necessarily, but like what if a majority of the people who are actually running the state decide that they can enslave you, right? What can you appeal to beyond just base resistance from the population at that point?
Can we dwell on this for a moment, please?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Seawall, before can we dwell on this for a moment? To what do we freedom-minded individuals appeal when the mechanisms of the state impinge, as they do, upon us? To what can we appeal? Please give me a white pill right now, because I haven't seen a real solution beyond, again, there not being any direct action, but instead living as best you can.
Yeah.
Thriving.
Well, yeah, you're living as best you can, but I'm talking about that. I don't believe that there's only a handful of safety nets that ever need to exist. And that's why I believe in the concept of a state existing that specifically enshrines in its documents that cannot be easily changed without mass support from the people. We're talking like a proper amendment process, which requires 70 or 80% of the population to back, at least.
But if the state has a monopoly on interpreting that document, what incentive do they have to actually play by those rules, right? To limit themselves.
And it does. Even the tripartite state, the fucking it all checks and balances its damn self.
Due to the fact that we, as the people of the nation, have failed in our duty to properly maintain it.
Yes, indeed.
The same problem will happen in the anarchist system if they fail to maintain it.
Okay, I agree with you, but that's not then the fail-safe would be the people and not the state itself, right? The fail-safe is not within the state.
The people should always be the final fail-safe. The anarchist system gets rid of one of the preceding fail-safes, and thus means that you're entirely reliant on the people.
But I would argue that the fail-safe is just ostensible inside the state. There's no actual failsafe that actually mechanistically works from inside the state, because the state has supreme monopolistic authority over its own failsafe, right?
Right, intrinsically.
The state has to decide for itself to take itself down. Otherwise, yeah.
Now, if you'd like to rebut that, I'm absolutely willing to hear how you think that would work mechanistically.
I'm in the camp of the current system is horribly corrupt and needs a lot. As I've said, the stone gears of the state are horribly gunked up with slime, and my position basically is they need serious cleaning, whether that is through fire or through meticulous and careful work. Doesn't matter.
I'm just wondering, like, how would mechanistically within the state? I'm not talking about like the people revolting, because that's like that's a failsafe outside the system.
That's the outside
bad,
failsafe.
But inside the system, inside the state, how can you create a failsafe that the state itself cannot ignore when the failsafe is within the state?
It's like the problem of, can God create a boulder large enough that he can't lift himself, right? It's kind of that kind of deal, like that kind of
Can Mossad create a false flag strong enough?
Midget, stop.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No.
But
The point is, though, right? Like, can the state create something outside of its control that it self controls?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what he's talking about. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about within founding documents,
Right.
amendment process, something very clear, and it's also very clear. For example, bureaucratic positions, it specifically should be written: there's no pension, there is no benefits. You get a paycheck, and you're done, and you can only be there for 5 years. Then you're done. You basically
I feel
permanently limit how long people can be in positions of power.
Is that not?
But what actually limits it, though?
Be more corrupt than they are now. Because you got to make your money in those 5 years. That's when you're making your money.
Like, I don't think it's necessarily that the document isn't clear, like the Constitution isn't clear about these things, and you can make a case that it could be much clearer. I'm willing to buy
exactly.
that.
You need to make sure it's a very clear document.
But I feel like the people in power, if you're in the state and your goal is to achieve as much power for yourself as possible, I'm not sure like why you would care about what the document says, because language is very fluid and loose. Even when you try to like make it very strict, there's always some
you can only
interpretation.
have two 2-year terms in Congress, 1 6-year term in the House, and two 4-year terms as the president.
In fucking term limits.
Sure, and so there's a lot of times when
and then
the
combine
state
that with you treat any form of corruption as an actor of the state as a treason against the state and thus punishable by execution. You put the sword of Damocles above their head.
That would never be used against political opponents for nefarious reasons, right? That could never be used for that.
So
I mean,
only if the system becomes so horribly corrupted that you'd have to burn it down anyway. Because when you're talking about treason and execution, that gets people's attention really quickly, and if you fucking miss that shot, you're talking about people going, we need political reform. We need to remove the people that tried this.
I think Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Ace. I'm just saying, like, I think we're getting caught in the weeds here. So why don't you make a point real quick, Ace, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
I would just make the point that I think a lot of times when the state enforces the Constitution, I think this is and I don't think they do it. I don't think they do it a lot. I think they do it sometimes mostly very rarely. But I think when they do enforce the Constitution, that's actually not a fail-safe from within. That's a fail-safe from without. That's the people, right? Because the state has to rely on a certain amount of support from the populace in order to sustain itself, in order to sustain its own legitimacy in the eyes of the people. So when the state enforces the Constitution in some way, they're not doing that because the Constitution says they have to do it. They're doing it because the people feel like if they don't do this, then they're one step closer to revolt. So I still think that fail-safe. I still feel like the fail-safe is from outside the state, even in that context.
But one of the issues I see with the anarchist system is that
let's just move on.
Okay, moving on.
To say the anarchist system is already losing.
When you're utilizing anarchy,
do we want to do this
one?
See, well, this one's gonna take us a while.
Yeah, we could drop this one if we want to. This was something fun.
We're way too far out.
Way too in the weeds. So
So,
but what I was saying is the anarchy has one massive flaw. Whenever an anarchist system, whenever anarchy goes up against a state, it loses, guaranteed.
No, dude, we were just talking about how guerrilla warfare is more effective against an organized.
Only to a limited extent with modern military tactics.
I don't want to drag us into the weeds too much more, but if I can make one point on this.
Please do. Please.
Okay.
Please do.
So the international system is an example of anarchism, right?
Yes.
So when you look at the international system of states, so if we just talk about states themselves, let's ignore the fact that there are citizens within the states, because earlier I was talking about how anarchism was relational. So countries in relation to other countries are anarchistic. Like America and Canada, they have agreements with each other, but in relation to the heads of state of America and the heads of state of Canada are interacting they interact as anarchists. So whenever there's some dispute, and we've seen multiple disputes between states in the past, it's not always apparent that the strongest state is going to win, right? And you can look at things like Afghanistan, Vietnam, things like this. So they are. You can see historically that smaller states beat larger states without a monopoly on violence above those states. There was no world government above those states that bailed out the little guy. In that case,
usually
I can think of one
issue.
particular instance wherein a world government would have bailed out a certain chosen state that exists.
Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, no, as an addendum to Ace's statement, there's also times, more often than not, in fact, where states interacted with each other and didn't go to war.
That's right.
There's more instances of that than the reverse.
That's correct.
Right? So this idea that anarchy is just chaos, it's the opposite of order,
it's chaos, but the problem is
ridiculous. No, but
it can't
that's
defend itself from an organized outside force. If that because the thing is, the reason why Afghanistan was such a colossal pig screw because the people within the state,
way too long.
Because the people within the state, within the state, that the bigger state were like, no, we don't want to do this anymore. If the American people are like, no, we want every Afghani dead, it will happen. If it is a popular position within the nation, that nation wins. The problem is public sentiment.
Let's move on.
The thing I'm noticing is you guys are kind of vacuumizing things a little bit, saying, at the state level, you're ignoring the lower level, where people are like, the reason why Afghanistan and Vietnam were losses was because the American people didn't want to fight them anymore.
On the side, you're ignoring human nature. Human nature is not to go to war.
No, human nature is to get as many resources for yourselves as possible. Fuck the other guy.
Let's.
I mean, if you look at the tribes of Africa or tribes of America, how many genocides occurred? How many tribes were?
How many times did it not occur? That's the point, right? Yeah. You highlight those because they did occur, not because they didn't, right? You don't highlight the points in history that didn't happen. You only highlight the points that did.
Mijjt wants to move on at this point.
Please move on.
All right, yeah, we can move on.
Something funny. No refunds, Lamau. Black Lives Matter National Arm just went and shut down all its online fundraising streams following a DC Examiner investigation that exposed the charity's shocking lack of financial transparency. No refunds, am I right, guys?
Seems like no one's in control of any of the money that's been donated to Act Blue charities and contributed to a record fundraising May of 2019 of fucking Joseph, most popular president in history, Biden.
Yeah, it's almost as if their machines are breaking down. That fighting against reality always leads to failure.
No, the thing is, they haven't received any funding recently, so everything is breaking down. It's falling into disrepair because it's not being pumped full of lifeblood.
And I don't see a replacement for Black Lives Matter.
Well, it's an off year, dude. Their usefulness
No, it's an on year. It's an on year right now.
They don't. It's too late for that. They've already gotten theirs.
Yeah,
it's too late for an on year, bro.
First of all, the Democrat is president, so we're not having BLM riots right now.
That's right.
Secondly, it's also winter in most of the cities that would have those.
Yep, and these people don't show up in the cold.
Right, they're not showing up in the cold. So wait until spring or summer would be the best. Summer really is much like ancient Greece.
That's right. War seasons of war. That's right. The campaign season.
Go to campaign in the summer, but then
the problem is you never saw any of these
riots. You gotta get home to tend the crops and bring in the harvest.
You never saw these riots in red ring parts of the U.S.
No, of course not. Yeah,
and you never will. And the thing is, if they have these riots at this point in the blue parts, that will only demoralize the blue,
didn't they? Yeah. Mostly peaceful. When they count a demonstration as three, a soccer mom and her two kids with signboards on a corner in, suburbia, 99% of those fucking demonstrations are peaceful, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Mostly fucking peaceful, aren't they?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so next thing
Fiery,
you
but
know,
mostly
people
peaceful.
who show up
So
on
let's
their
do this.
properties
Let's do
telling
this real
these agitators that they're not welcome with guns,
Let's
and
do.
mostly
Hang
peaceful
on.
process.
Let's do this real quick. You're right. You're right, Midget. Ace, what do you think about the media of the United States in general?
Oh,
you
They're
don't just
enemies of the people.
enemies of the people.
simple
Dude,
answer. Yep.
which is hilarious because, like, even though they attribute that to Trump, what he actually said was fake news is the enemy of the people. But he
Right.
only got it half right, right? Because he still had supporters in the media. But like, you're 100% right. The media.
Also, the fake
Is the
news
enemy
thing
of
is
the
funny because that was originally Hillary Clinton's
And it was
tagline about
co-opted.
Donald
Right.
Trump.
And it was
Yeah.
co-opted.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's also that was the power at the time. And I'm sure you Kekistan, that meme
Oh
going
yeah,
around.
Pakistan. Yeah.
I still have a Kekistan flag somewhere around
I have a
here.
Kekistan. I literally ran around with a Kekistan patch when I did
Yes.
airsoft up in Idaho.
I'll bet you
Right.
did.
Yeah.
I'll bet
Yeah,
you
he
did.
did.
You
Yeah.
heard.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've
Yeah.
seen it. He does. Yeah, he does have one.
Yeah.
But
Technically two of them, but one's in storage.
The whole point is though, like, he got it half right, but it was only because obviously there were still segments of the media that were on sides. So he was like, "All right, I'm gonna keep my good graces with you." But I mean, it really is like,
Mhm.
when was the last who's a good journalist now? Name
I mean, it's
name
not Tim
one.
Pool. He's
Maybe,
okay,
Glenn-
but he's
I
got
would
to
say
say
not
bias.
Greenwald.
Tim Pool's all right, but like
Yeah.
as long as you
Jack
know his,
Posobiec
as long
is
as you
fairly
know his,
accurate, but he's got clear bias for the right.
Glenn Greenwald.
Greenwald is a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, that's fair.
Veritas, again, they have got a right-wing bias, but they're very solid.
His place.
Right. Well, they verify everything.
Yeah.
Like, they've won every court case. And not that that matters too much, but it's more
Yeah.
about, like,
Hell, they're
are
winning
they
against the New
accurate?
York Times.
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true.
I think the fact that we can pick out like instances here and there kind of prove the point. It's like the exception that
Right.
proves the
The
rule,
exception
right?
is proving the point.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
100%. Right. So they really are, like, all of them. And see, I include right wing media. It's just not necessarily popular to do that, because it's like, oh, don't punch right. Like, that's a big thing. Or was before. I
It's
don't
like the
know.
right wing I mean, both sides led us, including the right wing, led us into like wars, right? So
Right.
it's like
Well, yeah.
historically,
Fox
the
News
media
is
has always
yeah.
been on. The media like there's this idea that the media is supposed to be like this check on power, but that's only like ostensibly true. In most cases, it's like, no, the media is following their interests. They're like, yeah, we want to be on the side of the power elite, and it's like, okay, we're going to like support what you're doing. In most cases, it's not true all the time for
Right.
every journalist or outlet, but in
course.
general, we see the pattern play out.
Well, the pattern's there, but also, I mean, we've seen
On the
recently.
keyboard.
We've seen recently, though. Was it Jen Psaki was talking about how they directed, like, Twitter and Facebook on who to ban from their
Which
platforms?
is a direct First Amendment violation, by the way. That
Of
is
course.
a direct one.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe in that sort of thing, see, that's the thing is,
Yeah.
I've cut ties with the Constitution. It took me a long time. It really did. It took me a long time, but like Lysander Spooner is the best. If you ever want to cut ties with the Constitution, Lysander Spooner is the best way to go about it, because he will do it, and he'll do it hilariously, and he will do it to where, like, now you're going to be the one making a mockery of it because it's so ridiculous. Oh, I fucking love it. But yeah. So, like, once I kind of like finally cut ties with the Constitution, it's like, okay, some of their ideas were nice, but there's no way to enforce it. There's no actual like mechanism of enforcing it other than
It's like a gun-free
thing-
zone sign.
Yeah.
right. Exactly. It's the conservatives' gun-free zone sign.
Yeah.
It really is. It's the same thing. It's nice and makes you feel comfortable, but at the end of the day, it really does nothing.
Hey,
Yeah.
you know what though? I'm gonna stick up for a second. It is the
Okay.
product of Western civilization.
It is.
It is the product
but it
of
has not.
cultural high trust societies. Consistent mostly.
It was also kind of a coup, though, right? Because like they said they were going to just like, sort of alter the Articles of Confederation, and they locked themselves behind closed doors, and they're like, "Oh, we came up with a constitution now."
Yeah. No, it's true. That's how that happened. It's 100%
on
true.
the keyboard.
Next, you're going to talk about, how, police are road pirates and you're all boat captains.
By the way, I also heard how East is a huge fan of Abraham Lincoln. It's
Oh, wait.
crazy. Like, he's
What?
a massive fan of
Oh,
Abraham
yes.
Lincoln as well.
Well,
I heard this.
We're burning
It's another
time,
one of
and I
those
don't think we
I'm
want to get
not
into that. That
things,
sounds like
Yeah.
a multi-hour rant. So we're moving on
Yeah.
to the
We'll
actual
move on,
most
but I'm
trusted
just
name
saying,
in
yeah,
news
let's not
with the most serious of articles, the Babylon Bee.
most serious of news
CNN
outlets.
quietly resets days since an employee committed a sex crime. Counter back to 0.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they just haven't, hardwired the button to always be pressed.
Right.
It'll just
Right.
save time.
There's no need to have it anything but 0.
Well,
It's
wasn't
classic.
Jeff Zucker's affair ongoing for like 20 years?
Something like that, but
So literally every day would reset
Every
to
day.
0.
Every fucking
Well,
day.
also, I don't think it was a
0.
sex crime. I think both were, consenting adults. There's no
Well,
alleged
you know
malfeasance.
what?
It's just,
Yeah,
an affair.
That'll be a change. Holy shit, that'll be a fucking change for all
Yeah.
consenting adults. Yeah.
That's right.
I like,
Adults.
it's sad how surprised we are about that. Like, oh, really?
Really?
I'm
If they're
shocked.
actually consenting adults? Wow, okay, fair enough, fair
Damn.
enough. All right,
Wow,
I applaud
yeah.
you. Fair enough, you did the right thing once.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I just noticed this one. Trudeau claims truckers only hate him because he's black.
That's great.
And speaking of Trudeau, I've got some Freedom Scoop. I don't know what, Ace, your thoughts are on the Freedom Scoop guy.
Oh,
Freedom
yeah.
Tunes. Freedom Tunes.
Freedom Tunes,
dude.
my bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, different guy.
Yeah.
Different guy.
The one thing I shall say about those big bad truckers is there's one thing I'll say about that trucker convoy. It's that there. Ah, stop it. It's that. This trucker convoy is.
Because they ain't stopping. The more you complain, the more they
Please
honk.
stop. I mean, look, it's so erect. Jesus. Oh, God.
a
Guys.
tiny fringe minority.
What do you
Honk, honk.
What do you think about
Can we
that,
get some
Ace?
honks in the
Like,
chat
was
for our
good, yeah.
Canadian trucker
That was
friends?
yeah. Like I said, I can only get so erect. That was amazing. Oh my God. Calm down, you guys. Oh shit.
Well, also, it's amazing that just honking horns is getting them to, say, we need to call in the military.
Well, it's because it's in the right place, right? They're
Yeah.
targeting the right people. Finally.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not like the BLM where like, oh, we're gonna burn down
Yeah, we're going to burn down a pawn
Yeah,
shop
or-
and put a
or
bullet in the
old
back of the head of the
neighborhoods.
guy, the owner's friend.
We're going to shoot little 8-year-old black girls and 65-year-old retired black cops. We're going to make a difference in our society by targeting our neighbors
right. It's
instead of going after
So,
the
like,
people responsible
that's what we
for
were talking
oppressing
about
us.
earlier, right? Where they're building like a soup kitchen or whatever.
Yeah, they're actually building something.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
They're building semi-permanent structures, not
Yeah.
permanent.
Well,
They're
as a
2x4, whatever.
no, they'll probably responsibly deconstruct it to recover the materials when they're
And then somebody's going to
done
set
and
that up in
make
their
sure they're
backyard as a
gold.
souvenir.
Turn it to Home Depot at the end of the
Yeah.
of course.
So what I'm saying is like
This is expensive, man. Lumber's expensive right now, bro.
it super is, bro.
Yeah.
But what's beyond that is like it's the opposite of the fucking
The
god damn it's the
Chop or
opposite.
Chaz or whatever.
Chaz,
yeah.
Chop.
Chop, whatever.
Well, it's
And
genuinely
what was it?
collective
Antifistan
effort
or whatever it was
It was
called.
toward a
Capitol Hill
noble
Occupied
goal.
Protests was Chop.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chaz was
Chaz was,
autonomous zone.
Was Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, yeah.
They're one and the same. We all know it.
No, they were. They just changed the
No,
name.
there's a
to
lot of
PR.
apologetics surrounding it,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's like, okay, when finally I'm not going to say anarchists because I don't know what they believe, but like they're certainly setting up as to be Like, oh, here's our own market system within this truck convoy that's sitting here occupying Ottawa for however long,
Well, I
right?
don't
Like
think they're going to go that far. I think it's literally just going to be, hey, you know,
it's anarchistic
yeah.
in nature, whether they know it or want to or not. Like, they're setting up a free market.
Well, the
by
problem is I
putting
don't
the
think there's going to be an exchange
system
of
up.
goods. I think it's going to be more exchanging of goodwill, which is much harder to track.
Donated. Well, that's
Yeah.
okay. If you're talking about like
Yeah.
donate. Okay, we're gonna make a shitload of soup.
Yeah.
Off of
and then hand it out to
somebody's
protesters and homeless and all that. But I think that I definitely it's from the voluntary interactions
Right, it's all
big.
voluntary,
But I
right.
wouldn't call
No
it a
one's gonna
market
get paid
system
for
because a
that
market
as far
system
as I
does
know.
require, in my opinion, an exchange of goods. And we don't see like
Sure.
the homeless being told, "Hey, you need to hold the sign for 10 minutes if you want to get soup." We're not seeing that.
Fair enough.
Right. So
Yeah.
who generates capital in this setting?
There is no capital generation. There may be some goodwill generation, but that's going to be a secondary system that is not easily trackable.
It's not terribly sustainable, but it is.
There was
It
capital.
is also. It is also a. It is also a. What am I trying to say? God damn it!
I don't know. But
No,
there-
It's less
God,
market,
it's-
more logistics.
No, it's civil disobedience. Thank
So,
you.
civil disobedience. But like, no. There was an attempt at capital, but GoFundMe shut them down.
God damn the cunts.
Yeah.
And all that. Well, the thing is, they shut it down, which means all the money goes back. So GoFundMe doesn't get a dime.
Apparently, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I've seen articles that are like, oh, they stole it. So, but I don't know who it was.
Well, if they
who said
stole
that,
it,
so-
that will cause lawsuits.
Hopefully.
And
Yeah.
GoFundMe is similar to PayPal, and they do not want to be declared a bank.
Which sucks so much because like,
and also
I've used GoFundMe in the past to do like St. Jude's like fundraisers and stuff. I've used them. I've made thousands of dollars for St. Jude's just off of GoFundMe, but fuck it, like now I can't use them anymore. Why do that? Why?
Well, also the thing apparently a standard practice for GoFundMe is every day they transfer the funds. So it could be that quite a bit of the funds made it to the protest, but just the last little bits didn't.
You're able to once so okay, as someone who's used GoFundMe before, it's something
They have
like
all kinds of safeguards and shit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how like who's gonna get this money and distribute it and to whom?
Right.
Like
So that's my problem.
how is GoFundMe supposed to figure out who they're in charge of this money for?
Well,
like,
technically
think about
speaking,
it from their perspective. They have an obligation to make sure that people who are pledging their money, I guess, this is their service.
To a point, but the thing
right?
is, all technically they have to provide is, look, we have set up a trust and an organization that has this stated goal, and then GoFundMe has got its hands clean. If the organization doesn't do what its charter says it's going to do, that is lawsuits later down the line. It's not on GoFundMe.
That's between GoFundMe and the organization, not people who are raising money for it, right?
I'm not sure if that exists, but that's my contention on their behalf. And it's legitimate. Like, what role do they play in the distribution of this money, these millions of dollars? Like, how do they know that where this money is going is where they promise as a business it's going?
They can't be 100%, but that's why. But the thing is, you can never be 100%.
Yeah.
So that's just one of the natures of charity work. You never know exactly where it's going to go. I mean, how many times have charities been caught with their pants down with, like 50, 60, 70, 80, 90% of the funds going to administrative costs?
Right. Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah. And the thing is, and that's what things like I think the Red Cross has been caught in that a few times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Multiple times.
Yeah. So
most of the time, in fact.
Yeah. So. Also, apparently, the Red Cross is like really, really have a hard-on for forcing various media to not use the Red Cross for health packs. It's bizarre.
Dude, let's move on.
Yeah.
To the next thing.
Next thing. So, okay, get your wood chippers, boys.
Let's move on.
Chipper time. So
Well,
where's
there's a couple things
Harley?
to say here. One is, even if you are looking for a threshold, let's say there's a threshold. I'm making this number up, but let's say it's at age 8. Still, that tells you that some adult child sex is permissible. Second, the notion that it's wrong.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna. Oh my God, you guys! I'm gonna know too. There's something about this guy.
Can't hear you. What?
Ace, can you turn up the wood chipper, please, a bit?
All right.
If it were to be true, again, I don't know if it were to be true, it's hard to see what would be wrong with it. So, yeah.
Hard to see what would be wrong with it. Yeah, head first, if you please.
Beyond
Yeah.
which
No, feet first. Feet first.
If you're interested in willing participation, which is the way I structured it, then yeah, there's a point below which people aren't willing participants in anything because they don't have intentions or they don't have the sort of mental state that allow for willing participation.
Fuck this guy, first of all. Is this the same guy from the Cato Institute?
No way.
What's his name? The guy who was talking about like how
No, this is a different group. This is a different group.
Actually anti-libertarian.
Oh no, that was another dude.
Yeah.
That was a different guy.
Different dude. Okay, fine.
You know, there is something about this guy, though. I'm sure those two have something in common, too, John.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm moving on. I'm moving on. Moving on. Here's something wholesome. Here is something wholesome.
Yeah, we'll move on.
Apparently, her brother literally listens to classical music and plays Roller Coaster Tycoon all day.
King.
Fucking play on, King. Play on.
Yeah, that's right. What is that? Who is that?
That's hilarious.
That's the fucking king right there, sitting on his
I
throne.
bet he's got like a 3070 and shit, like, and he's playing
Right.
ICT too.
Yo, that's a king right there. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
He's gonna make some money doing something.
He's like, she can't understand. There's no way in her girl existence she could ever understand what's going on here.
No, of course not. No, she will never know.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sounded super familiar. I want to listen to it like 4 more times. So,
You shouldn't do that, though.
No, you shouldn't do that for the sake of the show.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
It's just like it's on the tip of my tongue. I know. Oh, God damn it. Okay.
Right,
anyway, let's move on. Please.
Move on.
Please move on. Please move on.
This was sort of starting to go after the Chinese Communist Party, which, again, hey guys, here's ammunition for each. We give ammunition to both sides and just see what they do with each other.
I guess. And in other news,
yeah,
Xi Jinping has done his best to dismantle Deng Xiaoping's achievements. He brought private companies established Deng under the control of the CCP and undermined the dynamism that used to characterize them. Rather than letting private enterprise blossom, Xi Jinping introduced his own China dream that can be summed up in
his own China dream,
AKA
as opposed to mine.
Rather than the previous guy was more globalist.
Disastrous consequences.
That is not.
Xi Jinping.
Is he human?
I think he's being like puppeted in the background.
Right. He's got a hand up his ass and is like being controlled.
But hey, if the billionaire elite want to take on the CCP, be my fucking guest.
No, that's a fucking horrible no. That means that shit is even worse than you think it is. Oh my God.
Let it burn. Let it all burn, man.
I agree, let it burn, but like, don't pretend like, oh, this is a win for some side or another. It's fucking not.
It's a lose for both of them.
This is not a good sign. This is not something good. No. Oh my God. Do you see this guy? He's not had adrenochrome for like fucking 3 months. The dude is fucking.
Look, I'm just saying the elite are now saying China's persona non grata, and China is one of those ones that probably got compromised on these people. Let them fight.
I mean, okay, let them fight, but who's going to be the ones fighting? He's not fighting.
Dogbots.
He's not going to fight. Like, I've got 2 younger sisters. Guess what? They're allowed in infantry roles
That's
nowadays.
right.
Hang on,
Dogbots
fuck off.
are gonna
Hang
fight.
on. Like, hang on.
Yeah.
No. No draft.
An,
There's-
an active war between the U.S. and China is not in the elite's interest. An active
Oh
war
my
of that
God.
nature
I
will
agree,
destroy
it's not.
electronics,
I agree,
finance,
it's not, but
infrastructure.
However, so this is a big problem I have, right? Is that there are people who are like, okay, these are the elite plans, but they won't do that because they can't account for every, every single possibility. But it's like, okay,
They're
but
gonna use
they don't
economic
they move
warfare
based
against
on that.
China.
They
China-
gamble. It's all
Yeah,
gambling.
they don't. Yeah, it
It's
is all gambling.
It's the same thing. It's just like throwing craps in Vegas, except for like millions of people will die if you lose.
That's right. That's
Like,
right.
there's a
And they
whole
don't
fucking
care.
difference.
It's the same stakes. They don't
It doesn't
care.
matter.
If
right?
they
It's the
go
same
to
stakes.
if they go to a
They
hot
lose some
war, but a
money.
hot
Oh,
war
no.
is in no
Lost
one's interest,
money.
not even
Yeah.
theirs.
Yeah.
Well, shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on.
Getting late, gents.
Yep. Yeah.
This
This
is
one I
worth
could watch all
appreciating
day.
now.
Oh yeah, I
As
love
to the
this.
fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
They both hit the ground.
Are these your unanimous?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my god.
Yeah, I love that video so much.
Well, also,
That's
there's
so
a joke
good.
I made when he was on the stand being in cross-examination. Fucking Agent 47 of a lawyer just took him apart.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
yeah.
said, "So Kyle didn't fire his rifle until you were pointing a gun at him." That is correct.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Boom.
That dude's because that's an admission in court. That is completely allowed to be brought into the civil suits. That dude's chances at winning that $10 million lawsuit disappeared faster than his fucking bicep.
Yeah.
It's just a great video. And he was so like plastered drunk in that video that he didn't even stand back up after the bench collapsed.
Yeah.
Which is like that. Yeah, it's
How
just
can you? How can you? You're embarrassed at that point.
Well, I
Yeah,
love the
exactly.
original where you see when it goes back
That's
to
it.
Kyle and you see him just
Yeah, he's
bury
laughing.
his face in his lap,
yeah.
Oh my
and the lawyer is
God.
just doing everything he can to not smile
legit.
harder.
Like legit, I feel like the same people who were like the OJ trial, right? Where it's like you wanted your outcome and it happened or it didn't. And I felt that. I felt that same energy. That I was like, I really want him to get away with it. Like I wasn't old enough for the OJ trial, right? So fuck that. But I'm talking about the same energy, right? Of like it's happening. You're either going to be vindicated or you're not. Like that's about to happen momentarily, like 30 seconds from now.
Fourth count
And
of
I
the
felt that,
information,
and I'm
Anthony
like,
Huber, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fifth
just
count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we the jury find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
no, they both hit the ground.
Yeah.
His sister in the back crying. Come on.
Yeah.
That is fucking. That is nice. That's nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
As to the fourth.
Yep. It's unfortunate though that he was sentenced to the next 30 years of CPACs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
right.
true. That's true.
I mean, hell, that's one hell of a grift though.
Dude, he can ride it for the rest of his life.
Oh,
Like,
well, the thing is,
he's
that's his
set.
only option for work.
It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the
he's-
thing is,
yeah.
the left was saying, "Oh, he's going to do the right wing talk show circuit." Well, yeah, because you guys kept harassing him after
Right,
this.
he has no choice. He has no
You
choice at this
literally
point.
turned him into what you didn't want him to turn him into.
Right.
And then I
Yeah,
think
he
this
has
is the
no choice.
the one of the last videos.
Oh yeah.
Mm. All the soil.
I lost my mind because I haven't slept in 5 fucking days. It has to fucking stop. The honking will continue until freedom improves. Simple as that. Simple as that. Fuck you. Fuck me? Fuck you. Join us.
I love that initial reaction. It's the stabbing.
Fuck you! I lost my mind because I haven't slept in 5 fucking days! It has to fucking stop! The honking will continue until freedom improves! Simple as that. Simple as that. Fuck you! Fuck.
Pause it. All right. So what is the what is the anarchist position on this, Ace, if you will? Because obviously they're truckers are there protesting for their freedom.
Yeah.
Right. And then also, of course, there are people who are affected by it. So for the layman out there, what is the anarchist liberty position for this?
Yeah, I mean, I would say they're causing an annoyance, but I don't think that would ever amount to an aggression necessarily. At least not up to
They're
this
just
point.
inconveniencing everyone. You can't go anywhere in the area that they're operating. Otherwise, you can go around if you want to operate and not be involved yourself. But I tell you what, if you want to be in and around the capital of that fucking country right now, if you want to be in and around the decision-making centers of that fucking place, you're going to have to deal with this. And you know what? These fucking cosmopolitan cunts have it coming, don't they? Because they're the ones that are like, oh, I don't understand how anyone but myself could not comply. Like,
right, we're always looking on past aggressions by the people, but also not everyone who's affected by it were those people necessarily, right?
And I love how this guy says, well, it needs to stop. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I agree. The lockdowns need to stop. Yes.
Right. We agree.
Right. Who is aggressing upon us?
We're trying to take a stop. I promise.
Yeah.
Like,
and the lockdown and the mandates, we're gone in 2 seconds.
Yep.
Right.
But
we got shit to do.
But if you ever
we
do
can't
it again,
sit around
we'll be
making
back.
pizzas all fucking month. Like,
it's also
we will.
I love this so much because it's like a lot of people look down on truckers. Like a lot of these like liberal elite cosmopolitan types look down on truckers, and they're the most vital parts of your economy.
Oh my God.
Practically. And so it's like the fact that, you know, they're just saying, no, we're not going to take this from you. And they're powerless, essentially. Like these other people are just powerless.
How are the coffee shops going to get their sword?
Hang on, Mijjt, real quick. That's what we're talking about with like elites, right? Elites are not necessarily rich, right? Elites are also people with jobs that aren't vital to the like physical economy. Like they're not in logistics, and they're not in. It's like I've been in logistics for a long time.
A handful of elites are in positions that are important.
No, they are.
They're usually leadership.
Right.
Which you can sometimes live without
but there's
for
also,
a brief period.
Right, but the main point is like when you talk about elites, it's like, okay, well, we're talking about the social media sites too, and they don't really see that.
Yeah, we can live without those. If all social media just died tomorrow, we'd survive.
We'd be fine.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. We would be fine. But
I mean, I would miss my memes.
No, we'll mail each other memes. It'll be fine.
Carrier pigeon memes
you,
to each other.
I got you. I will physically mail you memes. It's all good. But no. What I'm talking about though is like this idea that the working class is Silicon Valley. Like that is kind of what's
they are the pseudo intelligentsia. They're the first ones up against the wall.
Upper middle class, right? And those are what we call like champagne.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. The people who are like...
Also, if they got their way, they're the first ones up against the wall.
Of course. Yeah, no. All the things that they're advocating for, they're the first ones to go. Of course. But the thing is, when you run a revolution, right, it's usually, not always, but usually the leader to go first, right? Or after everyone else, after all the dissidents go, then it's like, okay, who do we turn on to next? Because you have to have someone to turn on, turn against.
Yeah, and these champagne
you're going to be the people who organize it after that point because they're not. Yeah. Now they're in power. They've been in power long enough to execute people who are dissidents. Now they've gained their power. It's been corrupted, and so like, okay, we need to. It's like the Reign of Terror in France, right, during the French Revolution, right? It's the same kind of deal. Where it's like, okay, well, the people who fomented that insurrection ended up getting guillotined.
A lot of them. A couple survived, but not many.
Of course, yeah. Exceptions with the rule, right?
Yeah.
Like usually
Well, the
they
ones that
got
held power,
executed.
that held actual power, survived.
The ones who actually able to justify their power,
Yeah.
I assume. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because what was I think Tim Pool talked about this, that he's talked to some of the more intelligent, self-aware ones of these movements, and he's like, oh yeah, we just want to turn the pyramid on its head and be the new ones on top.
Oh, that's not a good idea.
They know the score or how it works. Problem is, they have these fucks for allies who, when push comes to shove, they don't do anything. They give up. They give in.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, if let's say with the Chaz, actual military, a hypothetical alternate timeline.
And I don't blame people like that. There are people with things to lose.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about like property. Even property, I'll be willing to lose.
Yeah.
What people largely have a problem with losing is obviously and completely understandably is family. Right?
Yeah.
As soon as you have a wife, as soon as you have children, that completely changes your point of view, especially when it comes to like things like anarchy. Right? That's I think, in my opinion, that's one of the biggest obstacles for anarchy is that you have children. And it's like, okay, well, I have no choice at this point but to send my children to public school because I can't afford private school or whatever the reasons are. Whatever the reasons
to the
are.
teachers being
Doesn't matter what it
fuckwits,
is. Whatever the reasons
push
are.
people into homeschooling more.
No. That would be nice, but not everyone
that's
has
already
an option. That's just a reality. That's not an ideal. That's a reality, right?
And I don't think it's necessarily. I don't think it's necessarily even wrong to I don't think you can be an anarchist and you can just say that, okay, I'm an anarchist, but that doesn't mean I necessarily feel the need to revolt. You know what I mean? Like you can very much just say, yeah, the cost benefit analysis right now is just not in my favor.
Yes.
So I'll acquiesce at the moment, because I don't see a strategy at the moment. And I think that's perfectly fine.
And I've said this 1,000 times that acquiescence is not consent.
That's right.
Like I've said those exact words 1,000. Yeah. You can look through my tweets. I've said it 1,000 fucking times.
Mm-hmm.
Acquiescence is not consent. It needs to be said like on a constant basis because people are like, oh, well, you pay into the system, don't you? Okay, acquiescence is not consent.
Yeah, it's like I gave the mugger my wallet. I didn't. That doesn't mean I gave it to him voluntarily.
Exactly, and it falls apart immediately. It's just that so many people. Okay, they hear that and like, okay, yeah, fair enough, yeah. So, this is what I have to do. I have to do it as a citizen or whatever. Like, then they don't think beyond that. And why would they? But why would they?
Right.
Like, what reason do they have to think beyond that?
Right.
For the most part, like what the average person, why would they think beyond that? Why? What reason do they have for that? That's the problem, right? I think it's a huge problem. I don't know how to solve that, but
moving on, I guess to the kind of the last bit of bread of memes, the last slice of memes.
Okay, a little bit of memes.
I love that.
He's become the meme.
Yeah, that's great.
Then there's another one.
Become governable. See, I like that because I love the become ungovernable memes.
Yeah.
So I like this one. Yeah.
Yep. It's an anti-meme. It's an anti-meme.
Yeah, it's an anti-meme.
So then we got...
I've also got hockey gloves just like that guy.
I don't think this is being woe-jacked, but, this is definitely a caricature.
What is that supposed to be?
That's him.
Supposed to be the guy.
That's him.
Oh, the guy. Okay, yeah. On the balaclava, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, I like it. Okay, fair enough.
Oh, I love this. Yeah.
It's denied.
You're like, oh well, we got denied. We're going home. All right.
Yep.
We didn't get a license, so we're gonna not protest because we're not told that we can by your government. Get the fuck out of here! Come on.
Well,
you see what I'm saying? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, moving on to the next one.
This is what I'm saying.
This is where the fun starts coming in.
Oh yeah. blow
But
it up
as a
real
queer
quick?
feminist, I hate to say it, those guys look rugged.
Yeah.
As I said, I described this as this basically is a form of war brides phenomenon.
Well, yeah. So it's the
Because
same thing. I was
the
talking
men
about.
of their ideology have failed in stopping the men of the other ideology. The women go,
It's
I
more
want to be
like-
on the winning team.
I think it's more like I've been tricked into thinking I'm attracted to a certain type of guy.
Yeah.
But really, biology tells me I'm attracted to a different kind of guy, and that's how it's kind of manifested itself.
Yeah.
Especially with the rising of cuckoldry, I think is that same thing, right? Like cuckoldry is a rising, I guess, fetish. But that's the
Well,
reason,
it's not
right?
healthy long term because it's gonna go from cuckoldry to the women just going, you know what, fuck you, I'm gonna go with the guy I've been cucking you with.
I mean, sure, eventually, I'm sure that happens, but unless that dude has a decent job, and then she's like, okay, well, I can like date this dude who's gonna pay for my lifestyle, and then I can fuck this dude who's gonna like fuck me brainless, and I'm happy both ways. And meanwhile,
Well, the problem is
leaving
it's
them
not a
both.
healthy relationship because you
Of
get
course
this
not.
seethe
Of course
guy
not.
over here, and
Yeah.
these guys will become eventually aggressive and abusive.
Yeah, usually.
Not only that, but they will be a
Well,
danger
hang
to
on,
any
hang on. It's not
children
that-
produced from the cuckoldry.
It's not that all leftists are like that. It's like that people like that are usually leftists, right?
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
a difference.
But what I'm talking about is, statistically speaking, the most dangerous person to a child is their own biological mother. The second most dangerous is a non-biological male that is in some way emotionally or romantically involved with the biological mother. That's just how the statistics roll out.
Is that true? I don't know. I've
Well,
not
yeah,
seen
basically, stepchildren
Is that true?
have a higher rate of being abused by both their mothers as well as their stepfathers.
Yep.
Yeah.
The outright
Yeah, fair enough.
safest person to put a child with is their biological father.
Yeah, P is like the stepfathers sometimes are like, you know, if
because the thing is that child is evidence of another male's offspring.
That's right, and they're also fighting for the affection in some sense of the female. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. That's fair.
Yeah, and if we look at other primate species, specifically, I think great apes, when the alpha male is deposed by another male, all of the pregnant females basically self-abort.
Yeah. Which I guess would make sense for what's happening in modern culture in the West, at least. I guess also in Asian culture, depending on which one you're talking about. But yeah, they're about self-abortion. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not talking about abortion like the apes are going to fucking Planned Parenthood for apes.
Of course, they self-abort, which
it's
is
a
also
biological
possible.
process.
Yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it on this show, but yeah, I know. I had a girlfriend before I even turned 20. So like a young girlfriend who did that, who kind of self-aborted. Yeah. It's pretty serious. It was a pretty shitty situation.
Look, I'm not saying that mom automatically equals danger to child. I'm saying that just based on pure statistics.
No, of course not. Yeah, no, but it happens.
If the child is rolling the dice for being
happen.
abused, mom is going to come up the most. Stepdad is going to be number 2, and I think, well, the thing is, stepmom is potentially a danger, but not as much. They tend to be more neglectful, from what I understand. But not as much as
mom being neglectful. I think that's less likely.
No, a stepmom.
Stepmom. Yeah.
Stepmom will have a tendency to show more affection and attention to any biological children they have.
That makes sense. That makes sense biologically. Yeah. That makes sense,
but
right?
Socially, there will be pressures from the husband
children,
into making sure, at the very least, the other child is cared for. Also, the child may tend to want to spend more time with their biological dad, anyways, or spend time with their half sibling.
Of course. Yeah. You want to spend time with their biological parent, of course. Yeah. So let's move on.
Moving on. Again, more of this. While these men have a certain swagger.
Chuds.
Yeah.
What a dumb fucking name for like right wingers. Chud.
They've embraced it. They've basically defanged the meme.
No. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's just like, but what's the point? Like, there's no fact. Like, when you call leftists like a soy jack or something, like, there's at least something there. There's like fact to back that up. When it comes to chud for like a MAGA or anyone who's not Stalin, I guess, it's like, oh, you're a chud. Okay, so what? I'm a cannibalistic humanoid underground dweller. Like, what does that fucking mean? Like, no, I'm not. I'm actually on the 3rd floor of my apartment building. I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not cannibalistic. I've never eaten a human. I am a humanoid. I'll give you that.
What was his name? Halderson, that recent trial. The guy that killed his parents and then tried to burn them. There's still a debate whether he took a bite or not.
I don't know what. I have no idea. But like, yeah, chud is such a fucking dumb. It means nothing. Like, how the fuck?
Well,
like, oh, you're a chud. Okay, great.
And
what?
Also,
and what? Like, and what?
And also, the thing is, I've never seen what the leftists perceive a chud as. I've only seen this image where it's like the big, stocky, very built guy that just kind of is missing a neck. It's the only negative he's got. His neck has disappeared due to muscle mass.
I mean, yeah. Well, his beard is fucked up too.
That's because it's an edit.
Beard,
this is an
edit. Whoever shaved his beard is a fucking douchebag. But like, yeah. Other than that, I mean, he's fucking. Look at this fucking guy. That's a man right there. Yeah. Except for he's got a maple leaf on his hat. Fuck that guy.
Not everyone's
for that.
perfect,
like,
John.
I know, not everyone's perfect. Some people are Canadian. I understand. It's fucking ridiculous.
And don't worry, once I take direct control and fix this nation properly, we'll be solving that. Most of Canada will be seized as a future American territory. And they'll be American subjects, not citizens.
I don't want to be associated with Canadians, dude. That's fucked up.
They'll only be subjects. They'll need a few generations before they're considered proper Americans.
I use my freedom of association to not associate with Canadians.
And thus you can stay in Florida. I'm not forcing you to live up in future American territory.
Good. I will stay in Canada. I'll stay in Florida and then come here.
Yeah.
Canadians cannot come to Florida. How about that? All right, let's move on.
Talk about it. So moving on.
Oh, that's great.
Yep. The fucking rage Jack Trudeau.
Yeah.
That's right.
The honking will
continue until freedom improves. That's right.
Yeah. It's just one of those things that the right are just the master meme smiths these days.
Yeah.
Well,
they
because they're
masters.
Right. Finally.
Yeah.
They're finally on the right quasi side, right? Like.
Well, they just accept reality as it is.
They're better at liberty than the left is. That's all it is. Not that they're good at liberty, but they're better at liberty than the rest. Than the left is. Like, it's
honk.
Yeah. Total honk.
Yeah,
for sure.
So yeah, I think
what
this
happened
is
to Mijjt?
Yeah,
he just fucking.
I think he passed out.
Yeah.
We're at 2 hours and 40 minutes. We're on a longer show, so.
That's true. No, dude, I did like an 8-hour junk stream where Mijjt was on, and he fell asleep on the toilet, which is pretty funny. Anyway, let's move on.
That was the last of it, so I'm guessing it's just kind of time for you to play us out, Johnny.
Nah, dude. All right. So, does anyone in the chat have anything else for Ace? And we have Ace now. Don't get me wrong. He's not sleepy. It's fine. He's dealt with
I do this all the
today.
time.
Yeah, he's dealt with plenty of idiots today. He's got tons of nourishment. So, what are your anarchy questions? What are your anarchy concerns? Who's going to build the roads? right? Like, who's
Well,
gonna?
obviously, the thing is, even though I'm a statist, I also say, look, if people want roads, they'll build roads.
Right.
Whether
No,
they do it
that's not
themselves
possible.
or hire a company to do it.
Yeah. Or we'll get,
It's not possible.
we'll pay the politicians like 8 cents an hour or something, they'll,
That's what I heard. Yeah,
yeah.
the previous politicians would be paid 8 cents an hour to build the
Yeah.
roads. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Highly, this isn't like an open call-in situation. This is if you have a
Yeah, we're not doing
question,
that.
dump it in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you got a question, dump in the chat. He'll address it for a moment. But we're on our way out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're not trying to like. I know you want to pick his brain. He's on Twitter at ace_archist.
Yep.
So put your dead brain takes there, and he will quote tweet you. I promise. He does it most of the time. So
yes,
he will quote tweet you. I promise. All you gotta do is not suck or suck.
Yeah. There's a golden mean in there just somewhere. Yeah.
Right. just be dumb or like be smart. Either way, he'll quote tweet you. I promise. What is this? Opinion on self-defense in general. I think that, but I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I think highly everything we've discussed on this show for what is it, 28 or 9 episodes, have discussed that.
Yeah. Well, also remember we got this is number 4 of the Drinking with the Boys, and we got 20 some odd episodes, so we might have actually hit 30 by now.
Easily. I don't know. I thought we hit 30 already of just our regular episodes. Maybe not.
Yeah. No, we're still in the high 20s, I think.
So it's just self-defense in general?
Yeah.
So self-defense in general, defend, I suppose. I mean, that's easy. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's also just, it's not like the best way to defend yourself is not to get into the altercation in the first place. So like preventative measures are like the best thing you can do. And it also, it's not just physical altercation. Well, it is physical altercation, but it's like you also want to insulate yourself from the state as much as possible, right? So whether you think that's like direct action from the state, or if you believe that the state is like an empire nearing collapse, which it very well may be at the moment, the American government anyway, then you also want to insulate yourself from that as well. So any type of defense, it doesn't even have to be with guns. It could just be like becoming more self-sufficient than you are right now. That's also a means of defense.
Hell yeah, dude. Badass. I love that answer. Great. Yeah, so unless we have anyone else, let's give it like another minute, maybe. Another 60 seconds. See if anyone else has anything. If not, Ace, some people in this chat don't know where to find you. You should make them aware. In the meantime,
sure. Yeah, well, I think we talked about this just a second ago, but it was if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's ace_archist on Twitter. And that's how you can find me. If you have any like anarchist related questions in general, just ask, and I'll most likely answer if I see it.
Legit, he'll retweet you no matter how stupid you are. It's fucking fantastic. I love that about this guy. And no matter how stupid the point is, he's like, bam, here I am. Most of the time people don't answer you back, which I appreciate, But no, dude, legit, dude, you do a service to all anarchists ever. I've gotten so many references from you.
That's awesome.
So like, I've read books because you've recommended them.
Oh, really? That's awesome to hear. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Like, it's been incredible. I've tried this whole time not to like be like oh my god, I'm a simp for fucking Ace. So I've waited till now to kind of bring that out,
yeah.
But yeah, man, I love everything you do.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
You've seen us like and retweet your shit all the time. I'm the one in charge of the Twitter account. So yeah.
Occasionally I'll slip in there and take control.
Yeah, sometimes he does, but he makes it known when it's him.
Yeah, I'm behind the scenes 99 times out of 100. Yeah. Occasionally I'll retweet something.
Right. So like for the most part, if we're retweeting Ace it's me. If we're quote tweeting Ace, it's me. If we're liking or commenting under Ace, it's me. So yeah, there we go.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ace is super good. If you guys don't follow him on Twitter already, please do, because it is totally worth it. If you wanna cut ties with that last bit of minarchism that you have in you, you're like, oh, maybe state involved. Follow Ace. He will rid you of that fairly quickly, which I appreciate about him. So, anyway, aside from that, we also have our like button, our subscribe button, and our share button down here on YouTube, because we do only stream to YouTube at the moment. We're working on other things, I think, other ways of.
We're talking about it.
Yeah, we're in the works for that. But if you look down in the description, we have our Twitter, which you can follow. We have our Discord server, which is a lot of fun. We got a lot of memes, a lot of like discussion. Our Discord is fucking phenomenal. I love everyone in the Discord. It's great. And then we got our Buy Me a Coffee if you want to subscribe to our, little tiers with our different goals with them. So make sure you check those out, see what's going on with them. And yeah, we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Yeah, we'll see you guys this Tuesday. Yeah, see you
Thanks
then.
for having me on.
Dude,
Anytime,
thanks for being
man.
here. It's been fucking
this is
awesome.
great.
Our door is always opened.
Yeah, I hope you come back.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah.
Guess you got to play us out. I guess Johnny played us out, so.
I did. So in the
Have a
stream.
good night, all.